E20 with, so we've got half of a good roll here.
Okay, everybody, welcome. This is Courage and Chaos. This is Dungeons and Dragons for absolute beginners, and thanks for watching. Thanks for being a patron. This is a group of people that have started D&D just 15 sessions ago as absolute beginners. And now we're playing real D&D, and you're already ready to go to any table. So I'm really proud of all the development that you all did. This is still learning, so if you have any questions, you're asking for yourselves, you're asking for your fellow people who might be too shy to ask a question, or you're just asking for people who are watching this video. So the whole idea here is that we layer these lessons on a bit at a time. All the stuff that I'm doing here, including this big heist assembly that you're doing and getting ready for this big finale, is something that you all can look at in the materials. So because most of you are on Patreon already, you can get these materials for yourself. If you run your own D&D games, even a book campaign, you can use some of these things, some of these tricks that I do. They're all things that make things flow a little bit faster, and you can run your own Courage and Chaos campaign. So welcome to that. All right, so the scene that we are just in is you've just been pummeled by sound in Orgu's control room. You've observed Ziggy at the stage singing that plaintive song and realizing that his minions are talking a lot of shit about him. You've gotten ideas for how to get an edge in this upcoming battle, but it's just a little bit after your eardrums bleeding. You've left the Orgu's control room, and everybody knows that you're here, or you think the suspicion has gotten even higher, but nobody's chased you down yet. You have an hour or two before that happens. So just let's go and feel free. So let's zoom in a little bit to each of our characters on how are you looking and feeling at this moment. Oliver is playing Saryeth, and Saryeth, he is a high elf wizard, level 3. What's Saryeth looking and feeling like right now?
Saryeth is exhausted. He just wants to go home and have a hot shower and put his feet up.
I think the shower is because of all the grease you're coming with?
Yeah. Have a nice, 4 quarts of whiskey, and then just let himself blaze out.
And you're still waiting for your Devil's Reward.
Yeah.
That's right, you're looking forward to kicking your feet up in your new red tower the Devil's giving you. Hopefully he's got a fireplace. You know, he's got a painting of a fireplace.
It's got to have a fireplace. It's from hell. Come on.
All right.
Central heating.
Michael is playing Fogrim, and Fogrim, he is a Dwarven Cleric level 3. So what is Fogrim looking and feeling like right now?
Really grumpy because his ears are ringing.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
I know.
Yeah.
He doesn't like it. It's like,
Or you're swinging your sword, it likes imaginary sounds.
Yeah, potentially.
Your warhammer. Also, you did those massive butt drops.
I did
in a recent fight, so your butt's probably pretty sore.
I don't know. It's pretty big.
well padded.
I've seen the video.
That's right.
We've seen the gifts.
That's right.
Have you seen that video? The Turn Down for What
Yeah.
video? That's such a great video. I'd highly recommend watching. All right. Sean is playing Shudyan. Shudyan, he is a human fighter of a Battlemaster type, level 3. So how's Shudyan feeling and looking right now?
I'm sort of, fed up with Shriners, fed up with red factions, and just want to cleave heads and end all this and bathe somewhere. And,
all right.
Bathe in blood.
Bathe in blood initially, and then
Then clean the blood off.
Cleanse off, purification,
All right, now customization options for the Shrine of Evil Chaos. If you prevail, you'll want to find the bathtub.
That font of evil knowledge sounds pretty
Yes.
good.
A walk-in shower.
Yeah, the
Just
font of,
walks through.
the font of hot tub.
I want to know those in real life.
Olenka is playing Smaragd, and Smaragd, they are a Dwarven Cleric of Life, level 3. What do we know about Smaragd?
So Smaragd is also covered in grease, but also honey, so extra clammy and sticky. So they're very, very pleased with their find of sporting memorabilia, the Matilda's game, of rock memorabilia, sort of commemorating Ziggy, and is sort of, tried to wipe themselves off. Smaragd has tried to wipe themselves off as much as they can with the grease, and then sort of tried to deck themselves out with some new cool duds under their heavy armor.
Okay, nice. Yes, the shirt that you're wearing is very appropriate to the last scene. So
Now, weren't you one of the people who donated their clothes?
No.
No, who was that?
Mm.
You're just naked with grease all over you. Under your armor. That's
Yeah,
just
well, they were just spare clothes. So don't-
Reminds me of a wrestling thing.
Jimmy here is playing Vol, and Vol, he is a human fighter level 2 and a warlock of the Fiend level 1 multi-class. Well, what is Vol up to or looking like right now?
Takes the sudden cloak off there. Yeah.
You wrap off the cloak of the manta ray.
Kind of feeling like, he's okay, he's not dirty, covered in anything.
Yeah. Maybe been wearing the cloak the whole time, so.
Just suddenly put it on. Yeah, this is good.
All right. Well, thanks everybody. Now that we have done that, well, let's look ahead. You can take a short rest now if you like. You found a room that doesn't have any immediate threats. So, of
it's
course,
probably for the best.
your usual strategy. You've got to use hit dice as usual. You're pretty sure this is the last short rest you might be able to take before battle breaks out. But you're also going to try to be conservative here, so you're not anticipating any big fights before the big fight. Just from what you've overheard, we can tell, like, you don't think you're going to do a major fight. You're not going to need to get yourself in harm's way. But if you're ever going to do a short rest, this is a good time to do it.
Sorry, you ask a
I
question.
was just going to ask, I can't remember, on short rests, do we gain all the hit dice or one hit dice back?
On a short rest, you don't gain them, you spend them.
That's
Okay.
a lot.
Yeah, so you have a hit
Yeah,
die
I've only got one left.
on your sheet. You have to cross it off when you roll that hit die to get more.
When we roll our hit dice, sorry, Matt,
Yeah.
what's the rule for if you don't want to roll and we just want to buy the difference? What was that? Or are we not doing that anymore?
No, so by the difference, you mean like, you get like the default roll when
Yes,
you roll?
yeah.
That's only when you gain levels. So when
I
you
get it.
gain a level, yeah, you're allowed to.
So
not
we have to roll the die.
You have to roll the
Yep.
dice when you're recovering.
Alrighty, well, I'm going to spend a hit die because I've only got one and I've got 12 hit points. Oh, that's a sick roll. That's a 7.
Ah, good. Nice meaty roll.
Oh, do we
with
add
lots
our
of hit points.
constitution
You
on
do.
that?
You add your constitution bonus on
Nice.
top of that.
Fuck yeah.
Okay.
So I'm at 23 out of 27. I don't think it's worth me rolling a hit dice.
I'm at 21 out of 24, and honestly, I've got one hit dice left, so I'm going to save that for me.
10.
That's
Yeah,
it.
yeah. Normally, I'd really, support whatever you do here, and not be my coach thing. But
I still
But
have a healing potion I discovered when I was sort
Sure.
of thing, and I knew I hadn't sort of used it yet, but I've
Yeah.
just been sitting on it. So plus I've got heal spells.
You can
yeah,
sacrifice
in
your
general,
die for something.
in general, so the advice I give to
That'd be
all
a pretty big
players
sacrifice.
in the situation
Yeah,
is
not
that if you're quite sure that you're coming up to
Considering
the big battle of
I've
the
got,
day,
no.
and you're pretty sure you won't have other battles to go on to,
Well, we're not going to have
you don't want to be in a battle and
Yeah, but
and like be
difference
one under and
right
like
now.
die and go down because you're missing that 1 or 2 hit points and still have a hit die in your pocket because hit dice can't do anything during battle. So generally, a good strategy is if you're quite sure that this is the
Bounce.
last final battle, it's going to be a tough
No,
one.
I mean, it's
You're
a
almost
5.
always better, even if you don't get full
Cute.
benefit, is roll that hit die.
Well,
You don't want to go down with hit dice in your pocket. It's still your decision,
It hit my
but,
foot.
So-
every few hit points.
if you die because
I
of
should
3 hit
use my
points
wisdom
and you
and-
use your hit
and
die,
use that
I'll
last
be,
Yes, I guess
I've
Farad
got second
is
wind.
wise enough to do that.
could still happen.
Yeah, so I don't want to be too strong by coaching. You should make your own decision, but I'm giving you every meta signal as a DM possible to tell you, like, this is the final big battle. And it's going to be a very hard one, so anything you can pull out, including that last hit die, even if it's just for a few hit points. Again, you don't want to go
Could
down
say
with hit
It,
that's
does,
the fun
it
of
doesn't
it.
affect second wind, does it?
No, so you still will have the ability to do your
So
second
what's
wind.
it about adding Constitution?
Now, if you haven't used your second wind yet before your
You
short rest,
roll
you
your
use
hit die
this-
and
yeah,
then
you
add
do
your
the usual
constitution
trick. Okay,
bonus.
use your
Alright.
second
I
wind
don't think
before
I've
you
been
do
doing that.
the rest.
Oh, really?
I
Yeah.
haven't, you know.
Whoops.
No,
That's
no,
what I'm like,
I've,
where's this
I've been
come from?
keeping that second wind all this time.
Okay.
That's,
haven't used
wait, what was
Well, it's a good thing you're adding your
You don't
constitution
have
bonus,
to-
isn't it?
that?
All right, good.
Oh, you add the constitution bonus onto...
Do with your roll. So when you roll a hit die, you always add your constitution bonus.
Yeah,
to
I
each
haven't
point
been
you
doing
gain.
that either.
Oh my god.
Ah.
Did we
If
do
you're
that
very
when
sure
we
that
did
you've already done, like, at least since your last long rest, if you're absolutely sure you haven't been adding it, you can retroactively add them. You're on your honor, and hit points are very important to keep track
I haven't
of
added
those
it
strictly.
ever.
Yeah.
Yeah,
My
I don't know this
constitution
either.
is
15
Okay.
sessions.
Yeah, I've been
of-
trying to say it,
Right.
but I know these things, there's a lot of rules to
Jesus
keep track of,
Christ.
so it's understandable.
You learn things new every
Well, that's
day.
it. The whole idea is to
Four.
learn here. Yeah, when you roll hit dice for
Anyway,
every
so-
roll, you add your
Back up to
constitution bonus.
just
Should I
15.
bother to roll this?
Yeah, so you can retroact that.
No, your
if you're
constitution
being honest, if you
bonus
haven't
will be
done
plus
it
2.
for your last short rest,
Oh, that's the
if
same
it's
thing.
the
So
last
yeah,
long
that's
rest, feel free to
the
do
action
that.
bonus.
No, I haven't, so I don't know whether I should.
I mean,
have
you're not
that
gonna
one
use it.
I'm
Well, you're
missing or
maximum
not.
now, I believe.
No, I'm
Until-
26 out of
until-
27.
Like,
This is the last fight.
Yeah,
I'm
okay.
sure
I'll use my last
We
one.
get a hit
Yeah,
die
if
back
you're done
every
zero.
Because that's what I
short
think I
rest.
used my last 2
Yeah.
dice.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, of course,
Oh,
you can tell
that's
how many
good.
short rests you've rolled on because
Oh, that's
that's
a
how many
10.
hit
Okay,
dice.
so this current short
Because I
rest
have
is
only
just
10.
where I use
my
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 full
short
health and
fighters do
0
hit
hit
die,
die.
then it's
My
normal hit.
walk uses
dice.
the 8.
Yeah, so are you at 0 hit dice now?
Yes.
Yeah, so you would have added your
Really?
Constitution bonus two
Two,
previous times.
a
So I
D10
would
for
say
each of the
just
hu- of the
add
fighter
your
ones.
Constitution
Yeah.
bonus
Oh.
two more
And I've
times
got
to your
one
Okay, then we're
in
back
walk
up
right
to
now.
Oh, yeah.
16.
Okay.
Okay.
So,
17
yeah,
actually.
I'm
Well,
over
you're
my
That's good. Well, I'm
Max
glad
health
that we got
anyway,
that last chance to learn that important D&D rule.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Go team.
Yeah.
All right.
We're no longer dead.
And to clarify, so Jimmy, I just heard you talk about the second wind. So
Yeah.
second wind recharges, and when you finish a short rest, you always get that second wind back. So it's great to use it during battle. So fighters should really have no hesitation to use it during battle. It's almost always a good idea if you're down a few points, because you can only do it on your turn. The other thing is that you know that you'll almost certainly have a short rest between every battle, so there's almost no reason to hold back on using your second wind.
Yeah.
And one common trick is, if you're about to do a short rest, you still have your second wind available, you might as well spend it because you know an hour later you're going to get it back. So those are all tricks. This is why fighters are so tanky. They're able to give themselves hit points for free. Okay, any other questions about the short rest?
Because, you got 2 clerics.
Yeah.
You're welcome.
How many spell slots
We
do you
can
have
only
left?
change spells
Almost
at a
all of them.
long
Thank you
rest.
very much. I'm saving them, knowing that we're going to run into a few issues.
Okay.
Namely,
so
wizard.
No, don't throw this all on me.
Oliver and I have a special relationship this campaign.
all
He
right.
does dumb shit and then I heal him back up.
Another thing as we settle in is we're kind of on to Act 1 here. So not combat, but thinking about combat. So think about this upcoming combat. Everybody's level 3. That's great. So you really should be having equipment that befits level 3. You've just had a horde. I sent this in chat, but I'm really emphasizing that. Yeah, you want to make sure you're well equipped. You can use that horde. You can rewrite the story of that horde to make sure you have maybe that better armor. If you have only leather armor, you almost certainly can afford studded leather armor. So that's something that would increase you. Even if you have a medium armor, I think all of you have probably the best possible medium armor you can afford, which is like the chain shirt or whatever else. But like if you had like hide armor or something that sucks like that, then this would be a great time to upgrade it.
So like our alt characters would have the lesser armor.
Yeah, in some cases, like the starting rogue has just leather armor because studded leather is pretty expensive. So like a rogue would be a great time. Keep in mind shield. So if you're a fighter, if you can handle a shield, you have to be proficient to handle a shield. You might have a two-handed weapon, and that's great. But you might want to buy a one-handed weapon, martial weapon, and a shield, because that means that in certain situations, here's a situation where I want to be well protected even if I'm doing less damage. Just allows you to switch to sort of tank mode, is one hand with shield, versus lay down the smack mode, which is two-handed weapon, right? Because you do more damage with a two-handed weapon. So that's something that might strategic, or vice versa. If you don't have a two-handed weapon, this might be a fun thing as a fighter. You generally want to have a few weapons. Bludgeoning versus slashing, you'll discover more and more that, this monster takes only half damage from slashing weapons. You want to have a bludgeoning weapon like a mace, things like that. And it's just kind of a fun thing to be ready for this battle and for others. This is the last chance to really get these characters in shape so as you carry them to completely different campaigns, it'd be nice for your character to be fighting fit. Sorry, last bit of advice, I'll take that question in a minute, is just make sure you can effectively fight at range, So if you don't have the best sort of ranged weapon that your proficiencies allow, this is a great time to make sure you have that. Go ahead. Yeah, Belinda.
Oh, I was just saying, is a warhammer a one-handed weapon?
We can look it up.
It's versatile.
Okay, so you can, that's great. So versatile means you can hold it one-handed or two-handed,
Okay.
and its damage goes up appropriately.
Yeah, I've been looking at it because I like the idea of
Really?
one-handed weapons
Yeah.
and two-handed weapons.
Yeah.
And right now we've got great axes, which is just two-handed.
But if you want to, again, have a character that's ready for any situation, including this battle, if a Warhammer is bludgeoning damage, and there are some monsters that are resistant to bludgeoning damage, but they take full slashing damage. So if you're a fighter, if you're regularly using your weapons, I very much encourage you to have at least one bludgeoning weapon and one slashing weapon. So you might want a long sword or something like that.
Because that's it, I've got a warhammer, I've got hand axe, and I've got my light crossbow. So I've got something ranged, something slash. So I've got piercing,
Same.
slashing, bludgeoning. My light crossbow, though, again, this is what I noticed when I was typing this in, because if I've read the rules properly, it is 1d8 and your dex modifier. My dex modifier is -1.
Yeah,
so
not very good.
there's always a chance I could fire my quarrel
That's true.
and then still cause 0 damage, even
Yeah.
successful.
Your strength is pretty good, so this is what javelins are built for. So if you buy a few javelins, they use your strength bonus as you throw them and as they damage. They're not very far range, but in a small room like
Actually-
this, 30 feet is plenty.
They're 120.
Yeah, maximum 120. So when they have a range of like 30/120,
Yeah,
that means
the-
30 for a normal
Is
hit.
good, and then they have disadvantage.
Yeah,
further.
if you go
Yeah.
between 30 and
Because I had to
120, it's a
reread again
disadvantage.
why
Still not bad.
Yeah.
why Celia
I mean,
was
I
between.
got a nat 20
83.
on
Yeah, yeah, that's
at
right.
one
So you're able
point,
to really
so-
do that. Yeah, that's right.
Sure.
So we don't
I've got
have
a
time
holy
to do.
symbol in my inventory, and I've determined this is my holy symbol. That's
Is
how I'm
it-
going to
is
write
it
that.
bad,
It
or
just
is it
radiates
just-
power. Yeah.
Oh no, it's like a
Is it
book.
just
This
that?
is like my He-Man Bible, right? So
Yeah.
I think that's what you said it is. So
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
my holy symbol.
That's awesome.
That's in my inventory.
So I'll still let you between
What's in
sessions retroactively change your equipment. So if this is giving you a mental note to do things, you don't have to do your shopping now. But that's a great idea. Other things, again for adventuring, do you have for adventuring later on? Do you have your water skins? Do you have the healing kit like Schmaragd has one? Those are great. They can stabilize someone with just one action.
I've got a shovel.
Yeah, exactly. So
Shovel.
just little bits of adventuring
Shovel.
equipment.
If
This
you
is the
make
last
it in
chance as
time,
well.
if you don't.
Yeah.
If you're better,
Do you guys
just
sell
use
like
pocket.
If
magic
you make it in
wands
time, or if you don't.
Are you
staves or
talking
like
about,
things
like,
that
You
like
can get
dying
magic
and
wand
burying
staves and
bodies,
orbs.
or,
They don't give you a
burying
plus,
shit?
but they are quite nice
Uh,
looking, so you can buy
if-
them. They're in the list, so you
if
can have
you
them.
make
Walk.
it
It
in
just
time,
looks better than
you
holding
can
like this
get
component bags, like you're
stabilized.
holding onto this
Or
thing.
if you
you know,
have
we
a
can
think
figure
I
out
just
what-
did a
Yeah,
wand
it's
and
so
it just
very-
go-
I'm just leaving them where they
I was just
lie.
looking at anything, Chris
Yeah.
just stats or anything.
So there are special wands, staves, and things that do. There's no such thing as a magic component bag, but there are
I
things
don't
as
like you
magic
enough to
wands
bury
that give you
like-
+1, to your
Mm.
attacks,
Do it like the
or
Vikings do.
+1 to the
Set them
DC
up
of your
flame.
spell.
And no
or-
one's selling that,
That's
I'm
pretty
guessing.
metal.
No, those are magic
Sacred-
items, so you can
sacred
only
flame?
call
Yeah.
them.
Sacred flame.
That's fair.
Sacred flame.
That's it.
Yeah, as you get in the wider
Sacred
world
flame.
and you build up your
I'll
money,
let
which I know
whatever
you
my
have so
deity
much
is.
of.
I've got
Shut
one.
up.
You can buy or have crafted special items. Okay.
Speaking of, I've got like a stupendous number of coins. It's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Like
Well, we all do.
940 copper pieces.
Put
Like,
them in a
where the
sock.
Now remember, that's
Rinse
worth
with-
almost 10 gold pieces. So if you spend out of the hoard, if you rewrite the
Yeah.
hoard to have that, those are the first thing you can get rid of. Just
Yeah,
get rid of the
I know,
copper
but
pieces.
I'm
say
just
you
like
found that
logistically in my head, it's like, where the fuck am I keeping all these coins? It's really
item.
like,
Oh, I figure I've got like a little backpack like the kid from Up.
Yeah.
I like to think they're heavy.
every time I walk anywhere, it's just like,
Can't
ching,
remember
ching,
the-
ching, ching,
Right,
ching.
yeah, if you're
I can't remember the character's name, but that's what I pictured. His little
Yeah.
scout
Yeah.
backpack with everything in it.
And
Uh,
it's
moving-
that far up.
Yeah, gigantic. Okay, moving on a little bit. The potion that you made in Orgu's lab, I have the stats for that because Smaragd rolled so well. Not only do you know what it, you not only do you make it very well, you know exactly what it does.
I rolled?
Yes, I did believe you rolled. Yes.
Okay.
I didn't.
Just run with it.
That's the main thing.
Yeah, or at least the number is very high. I'm pretty sure you were the one who rolled.
Cool.
What it does is it casts a spell very much like the spell called Confusion. So you can look up Confusion in the player's handbook. What Confusion does is essentially locks, if they fail their saving throw, it locks a monster up. Either they do nothing, or they do something like wander a random direction, or attack one of their companions. So they're all good. They all do things that you want an enemy to do or not do. However, that level 4 spell is very powerful, and as much as I love you all and you rolled very well, you can't get a free level 4 spell. So the difference is that instead of lasting round after round, where they have to keep doing their saving throw, but they can stay confused for 4 rounds, it will last 1 round. However, it does affect everything in a 10-foot radius. So remember, a radius is where you pick an intersection and you go 10 feet out in all directions, right? So that can affect a lot of enemies if you throw it right. And all of them make their own individual saving throw. If they fail their saving throw for at least 1 round, you don't have to worry about them. They're effectively out of the battle. And in a battle that might last only 4 or 5 rounds, that's pretty big. So that
I
is
don't know if we're that lucky.
the DC
We'll just
will be
die.
Smaragd's spell DC. So whatever
13.
your whatever natural spell is.
Oh, wait. 13?
Yeah, I think it's
Spell save DC?
Mhm, yep.
13.
Yep. So that's a pretty hard save, especially it would be wisdom. So just like in the confusion spell, I believe it's a wisdom spell. I'll check that. You
Yeah,
can
that's
look
my
up the
spell
confusion
casting
spell.
ability is wisdom.
Yeah, that's true. But the spell itself, the spell effect is like the confusion spell. I think in the player's handbook it says the confusion spell forces a wisdom save.
Okay.
Cool.
Okay.
Spell attack bonus?
Spell attack bonus is just when you're firing something like acid arrow.
Okay.
That's the thing. When you're rolling the d20, that's what you add to your
Okay.
To see if it hits.
to see if
or
it
not.
hits. Yeah, guiding bolt, something that where you
Gotcha.
use your spell attack bonus. Okay. Any questions about equipment before we move on? All right. Next is, speaking of battle, here in Act 1 is the battle map. So you've been viewing the room from this point of view, and you're able to see it from every angle, so you're pretty sure that the room is laid out this way. Maybe this back wall has stuff that you couldn't see, but aside from that, you pretty much know everything in this room. You know there's a door over here. It's 10 feet wide. You know the door is barred on the far side, both that Orgu said so, and as the door sort of swung open and closed, you can sort of see there's a big fat metal bar that can be barred from the outside. This room itself has got a 20-foot ceiling, so it's the shape that you have is like hewn out of the cave rock. But unlike every place else you've seen, there are no cracks in any of the walls, and the walls have a strangely smooth appearance. That is a stage at the end. Let me actually show this to our faithful viewers at home. So that thing at the end with the chips on it is a stage. The stage is 5 feet off the ground, which, as imagine if this room is extremely crowded, would allow whoever's on the stage to fire at whoever they like, maybe without that cover bonus that usually you'd have to worry about. So it's a nice place to be, and that's why Ziggy and their officers are up there. Now, they're not guaranteed to even start, much less stay in this position, but you did see a dress rehearsal where Orgu wanted them to specifically be in the right spot because of the pyrotechnics and the lights. So you're pretty sure that at some critical parts, this is the formation of at least some of the officers. There are more officers, there. You're not sure how many. Like, there's members of the band. You don't know if they're all in the band or if they're backups to the band or they're wannabes. So I'm not guaranteeing exactly how many of each type of enemy will be in the room. You do know that the goblins and hobgoblins are going to be in the main room, sort of mixed in there. Also, all the idiots are going to be in there. So the room's going to be pretty crowded. Up on the stage, so also mixed in here might be some of the officers. There's no guarantee all the officers will be up on stage. But a typical formation is here. The white ones are the silvers, and they would tend to be on the outside edges of the stage. The yellow ones are reds. I don't have red chips. I know it'd be logical if I had red chips, but I don't. Not monster chips. So the yellow ones represent the reds, the ones who are part of the red faction with their maces and also crossbows. And the purple skull, as you might guess, is Ziggy. So you have an idea of some sort of opening formation. There's that little box in the middle of the stage with the legs on it, and that is the shrine. So you looked at it, even though it's covered with shit, grime, literally shit, blood, black wax, and these creepy sort of slightly glowing purple veiny-like vines coming out from underneath it. So it's largely obscured, but you can see, having gotten a good look at it, that's made of a very nice fine marble. It's got some nice engravings and bits of art on it. It's got lots of words on it that you can't really read from this distance and with all the grime. And on the back of that is where that piano keyboard was built, and Ziggy was sitting there. But it obviously is something important. It doesn't look like typical stage equipment. It's been messed up to look like it's sort of evil and nasty, but underneath it looks like it's actually a proper, nice religious shrine of some sort. You're guessing that's why it's called Shrine of Evil Chaos. So you can take a few minutes to discuss. Part of your plan will involve, you can actually start putting yourself on this map once you decide on your plan, like where you want to be standing in this room. By default, you'll just be, if you have no plan, you'll be able to sneak in because there's going to be masses of people being let in. You heard this from Orgu, and you're pretty sure in the confusion that as long as you're roughly dressed like red and silver idiots, which isn't very hard to do, you'll end up in the back of the room. You'll want to deliberately be in the back of the room because if you get midway through, unless your disguise is particularly good, that these people up on stage will probably notice that you're disguised. If you're back here, no matter how shitty your disguise is, you'll probably get away with it. So by default, your plan is you all start back here. Well, in a very crowded room with your most significant enemies having a clear line of sight, that's not great battle position. So the edge that you have, if you execute your edge properly, you can be anywhere in this room if you just justify it with the story, So that's part of your battle plan, is where you want to be in this room at the moment that shit goes down. And the stage, as you can see, has a gap all around it. So there's... obviously somebody can be hiding back there or squatting back there. Maybe that's sort of like a green room-like area that people can hang out before.
With all
ceiling.
that negative stealth.
20-foot ceiling, 5-foot stage.
Yes.
Yeah. So
I know. I
that's
was
like 5
about to
foot
ask
there,
that as
'cause
well.
if
When you
that's 10
just
foot,
clicked.
that's 5
5
foot.
foot? Yes, a 5-foot gap.
Okay.
Okay, so go ahead. You can discuss now. You'll probably discuss more, but you can have a discussion.
Do we
now.
know where the reds, the silvers, and the are going to be entering in from? Are they going to be entering in?
Yeah, so they all come in through
First,
this. Orgu implied that when people enter and they're let in, the musicians will be up on stage. It wasn't clear that Ziggy will be up on stage, but the musicians will be there setting the tone with sort of intimidating music, sort of a typical sort of rock concert. You might have just sort of dark ambient music to scare people. So yeah, everybody else is going to be coming in through this door.
ZZ Top singing on the stage.
Yeah. So they have to come in, say that they will be heading this way. Yeah. So if you
Are they already on stage or?
well, when they do.
Well,
Yeah,
you'd think that the musicians would be on the stage when everyone was going in there, so they would have been set up. They would have. We might have like an hour before they get on the stage.
Well, if you're
before-
masquerading yourself as the idiots, if you want to come in sort of naturally, you'll come in just a few minutes before the show starts. You won't be able to come in alone because you'll be noticed. So
Yeah.
your default plan is to melt into the crowd and be there at the last minute. You think that they all get pile in at the same time, and then the show starts quite quickly after they pile in.
Let's talk.
Random question.
Yeah.
Will the people from the Silver faction, those three judges, will they also be in here for this
Well,
concert?
anything's possible, though you didn't hear Orgo make any reference to them during his stage directions.
Because I understand that there were statues, but they also were not statues. and so
Yeah,
this
they
was
sort
just
of
like,
animated and moved a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This was one of the times when I wasn't here, so
well, we went through a
Talent show.
Talent show.
It was hell.
audition with our alt
That
characters.
led us to the minutes.
I wasn't.
Any other questions?
Yes.
Yeah. You'll be able to keep looking at the map, but yeah, go ahead.
Cool. Should we? Can we talk to Olgu now and see if we can?
So,
get into
yeah,
her
we'll move on
person?
to naturally what the next act is deciding on some brainstorming about what are the possible edges that you can bring in, and we'll want to have a few different competing ideas, and then you'll decide to investigate at least one, if not more, depending on time. So let me keep that there. Put that there. That's all right, don't worry. I think my radioactive rays are penetrating through your body very well.
It's fine.
Bluetooth.
Give me
When
my
you say that
cancer.
there's no
Yeah,
cracks in the
yeah,
walls, is
Hulk.
it just that none of the cracks that people go through, or is it just there are no cracks?
There are no cracks of any type.
Have they been
See.
spack filled and patched over?
You can only see what's through this mirror. I just say that it just seems to have a strangely sort of strangely smooth appearance to the stone. Like the stone is just a texture that doesn't make sense. But as part of your edge, you might really focus on the cracks, like Sean, you and I were talking about.
Oh, yeah,
plans
stone
with yours.
cutting.
That may involve investigating. So you'll get answers to that if you choose to focus on it.
Well,
So
it's part of the
Feel-
sense
feel-
of the
feel the
smoothness
walls.
that Augie
So
had.
this
Sorry,
act
like-
is about. Oh, you have a question?
Oh yeah, is one of those
In Augie's lab, he had like the smooth walls that he tidied up. It's
mirror
like
wells that you
essentially-
stuck your head in?
Yeah.
Is one of them in the room with this?
Good question. No, there is not.
Okay.
But of course, there might be one behind the stage.
Okay.
That's the only part that you can't really see. You just can tell by people walking around. There's a void back there, but you're not sure of the contents of that void.
Gotcha.
All right.
So this act is about figuring out which big edge you're going to bring in against the bosses, because you can't win if you take them head on without some sort of edge. Now you have some ideas that I've heard bandied around about various edges you can use, but you'll need to agree on one big thing that everybody can support and exploit to get that edge.
Yeah,
But
man.
to help, we'll have some time to investigate your most popular edge ideas. Also, some of the things you'll discover might be useful for Epic 2. So you might discover ideas that don't apply here, but will be fun to investigate anyway. We'll do a first draft of a kind of brainstorm, and I'll try to facilitate by writing some things down as you say it. Remember, the idea with brainstorm is don't spend any time knocking down each other's ideas. We're just generating ideas. There'll be time to vote and knock them down later, or even eliminate them because, my character would never support that. Don't bother with that for now. What you want to think about is what's the big strategic goal? Like when there's a big moment of truth that lessens the threat in this room, what is the core of it? Some things are more like tactics, so I'll write down some things that aren't necessarily, the center of it, but I'll write down some tactical ideas. There also might be some things where it's like Epic 2. If I think, that's an interesting thing for Epic 2, but I can't see how it applies. I'll sort that out as we go. But this is, ideas. So what's your general... And I'll write down as fast as I can, but try to go slow enough and listen to each other so I can catch up. Who's got an idea of the core of the idea?
Invoke the chaos energy. That's my
So-
first one.
Which is confusion.
Yes, okay. So unleash chaos energy.
Yeah, everyone's there. We want everyone confused and attacking each other and not thinking straight. And
So you think the idea that the silvers might freak out.
Divide and conquer.
and get the silvers.
Yeah. Now, this is an example of great strategy. It's a nice high-level strategy. Each of you will have various tactics and things to support that, because that's a multi-part plan. So you each might support that by doing various things, and those all involve die rolls. But that's the ultimate goal. And that's one idea. What's a different competing idea that's completely different, that might make this fight easier for you?
We talked about fixing Giles.
Giles.
Giles. I keep calling Giles. Whatever. We talked about fixing Giles so that Giles could re-establish control over his shrine and kick the Shriners out.
Okay,
That's
so
another idea.
yeah,
Not taking control, but just... Sean said something about Giles being Giles. Whatever.
yeah, Giles, yeah,
The G-Man...
Like
the-
in Buffy.
G-Man.
like in Buffy, Giles.
I just keep... I read it wrong and it ruins my head. It's one of those words.
Like giraffe.
Okay. The G-Man is look, it's easier for me. The G-Man is broken, and if we can fix him, he'll knock them out as he's
Yeah.
meant to.
The man in the suit.
Yeah, so yeah, part of it, you think that if you control the fount seems to be central, as Shudian investigated. It controls a lot of things about the shrine, so you can really change the environment or change the behavior or the setup of the enemies just by taking control of the fount. So again, the idea is to control the fount to make the fight easier, and there's many different ways that you might need to do to support that, and consequences to deal with.
What was your nuclear option? You talked about implanting
Some of the ripened shards, what would happen if you put one of those in the reds where they have the raw ones, just for
Or
more chaos and more confusion.
implant red.
And you
Or
with
to
glowing
expand on
shard.
that, a bunch of us have ripe chaos shards.
Mm.
Just chinkle them in there, and then be like, "Hey, let's use this. Let's fuck the reds."
Yeah.
Put them in the
So give the silvers lots of chaos shards.
Yeah, well, we've got ripe ones.
Well, even
Yeah.
the reds will want a shard and say, well, this is a brand new raw shard,
Yeah,
and put it in and
put them in the
Yeah, these are two
silvers.
separate things. Yeah, so one is to implant the reds with glowing shards, which you know would be bad for them.
Yeah.
The other is to give the silvers the glowing shards, which they do like the glowing shards, but you've got some really weird ass
I've got
stuff
some
stored up in some of those shards.
unripened shards that if we could give the silvers, see what happens. With
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
Tell them
have
it's
at
something
least
else,
3,
if
and
they
there's
think
that
it's-
question mark.
I've
on
only
the
got
fourth
one.
one.
happiness and you
I've
say
only got one,
happiness.
but
No, I've got 4, and they're all
Torment or
three.
something.
this one might go into the first one as well. But let's break Ziggy.
Yep.
Psychological warfare.
Sure. Yeah.
Right.
So. So let's I'll still call it break Ziggy. So the idea is like getting Ziggy to be heavily disadvantaged in this fight with some sort of psych. So via psych of some sort.
It could create chaos with the people
Oh,
around him
psych,
at the
not
same
psych.
time.
Yeah. Yeah. So use
I was
what you
thinking
know
of that
about
stage
Ziggy.
and the back of the stage.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I know what you mean.
So psych.
Okay.
Psychedelic.
No, cyclorama.
The cyclorama.
The
Yeah, it's
very
called the
back of the
psych.
stage.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So you project
Again, I
all
was
the
on a
light
stage
onto it.
just this last weekend for my comp, so I'm like,
Bloody theatre
Well,
kids.
last, I don't know if it was said while I was out there, but last week we were talking about trying to make one side or another think that they had an advantage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
Because
what
they
they
say
wanna-
that the only thing that's keeping them from
Yeah.
fighting at the moment is the equilibrium.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I
So
mean, there's a few ideas in there
And
that
I think-
potentially
I
fit.
think
So the whole central link for everything at the moment is confusion and chaos. So
make
we want-
sides either actually
yeah.
or appear unequal.
I think we can actually do a couple of these all at the same
We
time.
do want to pick one of them, yeah. So because I like a tight story and
Well,
the fight's
they'll
gonna be
feed into each
complicated,
other, yeah.
you're going to really stack everything onto making
Yeah.
one idea work as best as possible instead of spreading
Is there
yourself.
Anything that we can
Is
do
there like,
magic.
can we like disperse
Yeah,
that
confusion.
chaos potion into
Yeah.
like the air vents and just like, I don't know, aerosol it?
I think
And
that's
Sure,
just-
very
applies a
nice.
possible
That's
tactic.
That
Yeah,
could
that
be
might
an
do that. Yeah.
augury thing. Yeah,
That's why I was asking about the ceiling and the walls, because if there was a crack in there, we can hang it up on a rope and just drop it right.
Well, there'd have
in.
to be some sort of ventilation.
I think
this
just
sort of
make an aerosol.
Right,
pool.
this
So
sort of-
some of these are useful as tactics to support an idea as well.
Maybe.
So I'm just
Yeah.
making arrows for things that
Can we
that
make-
can be
Is
tactical.
there such thing as transmissible madness? Like a
Could
virus that
we-
makes people go batshit?
Could we edit the?
That was
Um,
COVID, wasn't it?
Could we edit the document
Aha.
in some way? The one that's got the
The list.
Yeah, the list,
who's
yeah.
going to die basically.
Yeah.
Oh.
Try and find one of these groups that's not particularly keen on getting got.
Oh, okay.
We've already
so,
killed about 3 of them so far.
Yeah, I know, but you
so
know,
like incite a goblin uprising. I'm just what I'm hearing, but yeah,
essentially.
So yeah, that's,
Because when we were creeping around last session, I think it was.
Is that what we wanna do?
heard,
Yeah.
Reds and the Silvers talking about the list.
Sorry,
Or,
but
Yeah.
or we found a list or something like that.
the
Yep.
elimination list.
The elimination
It's
list,
like could we
Yeah.
doctor that and then
Yeah.
sort of like
Right.
use that to
more
incite some form
confusion and more chaos. so
Yeah,
it's
you know
gonna
that
cause-
the Reds and Silvers had just recently put down a Goblin Uprising. That was because the Goblins got
Yeah.
a hold of a copy of that list and made them feel like, oh, we know we're going to get killed, so we might as well go down fighting. You could do something similar to foment the Goblin revolution.
I just want to point something out here. What did you just say?
Let's unionize the goblins.
How much shit did you give me in the first session?
I don't remember anything about that. I don't recall that at all.
I'm not sure if fighting for workers' rights is like.
No,
within the
you
scope
gotta go
of the
around and
campaign.
No,
hand
I
the
wanted
cards
to
out
do
them.
it for the kobolds.
Yeah.
He just wants to do it for the goblins.
Oh,
I like goblins.
Okay.
as long as they pay their dues and aren't scabs, then yeah, we'll fight for them.
So that's good. Now, again, we don't have to worry about knocking these down yet because you're not deciding on it. But let's get an idea of what are like the top 2 ideas, because we might have time to investigate 1 or 2 of these things a bit more deeply to give you ideas about how well they'll work or how to get the most out of them. So just to review and think about, you'll put your character chip, next to one of these, plus a bead. So everybody gets to put 1 bead, which is your second choice. Your character chip is your first choice. One of these beads you can also put there as your second choice. That just gives an idea of some ranking. So let me just review them. So these are the top level things. So you want to unleash the chaos. You think that'll cause the silvers to freak out, and who knows what all that chaos energy is. That's specifically getting Orgu, probably, to unharness the things directing chaos energy away. And that's outside of the shrine, but of course this is part of the heist. You can convince them to go do that. And you think that it'll take out the silvers. Again, so it's good because it would take out the enemies. Idea number 2 is that you're going to get control of the fount via Giles. So the idea is you'll reduce the enemies because once you have control of the fount maybe by manipulating Giles, you know that it's so central to the operations here that you can maybe divert enemies to not show up in the room at all, or be compromised, or be fed bad information at some point. You could develop that, but the center of it is gaining the control of the fount, after which you think there's all kinds of mayhem opportunities. Yeah. So each of these things, everybody will do a little bit to try to bring one of these things about. So you pick one thing and everybody works together on getting that to happen. That was number 2. Number 3 is implant, so basically compromise the reds. One main tactic, which would be tough to do, but you can all work together on, is implanting the shards with, implant the reds with glowing shards. It's very bad for them. So to compromise them by convincing them, tricking them however much or forcing to get them implanted with those shards. So that would take out the reds in this fight. Next idea is getting the silvers to be freaked out because you have so many glowing shards and they're so addicted to them and they're so eager to use them that by convincing them to consume shards of your choice, you can change the nature of the silvers again, making them not very ready for fighting if they consume a lot of these ripe shards. Or the idiots. It could be the silvers or the silver idiots. Next idea is breaking Ziggy. So basically just make sure that Ziggy either doesn't show up or is so badly compromised on stage, and you have some psychological so it's probably some psychological ways to do that, to get him to work with what you already know, to get him to change his mood so drastically. Next idea is make the 2 sides, the red versus silver factions, appear unequal to each other and then basically inspire civil war. So the main thing is get the reds and silvers to fight each other, and one way to do that is getting their sides to at least appear to be unequal and then kick off the spark that gets the dominant side to attack the non-dominant side, because otherwise they're evenly matched. The last one is to spark a goblin uprising. So that some of your enemies in this room will be the goblins themselves, who are trying to please Ziggy's orders. So there might be a way to get the goblins to cause mayhem, attack the silvers, or at least get knocked out by an uprising. You might be able to trigger that uprising by manipulating that document. Each of these things are equally valid. So when you're doing this, and I'll remind you of this later on, don't pick them based on, I think that has more likelihood to succeed or not, or I think that'll have a bigger effect than not. As a story crafter, I'm just going to tell you, I love your idea, whatever it is, and I'm going to make sure your idea is effective. So your main consideration is just what is cool, like what's an awesome thing, what's an awesome picture to have in your head for this final battle. Let's just make the final battle really colorful and fun. If you have 2 ideas that seem equally awesome, that's when you might say, well, here's something I think our particular skills and items and world facts I think would give us another +1 or +2 on some of the rolls, and so we have a slight edge. At most, that'll make like a 5 or 10% difference. Okay? So mostly just pick what's cool, and then if you're not sure which 2 cool things to do, pick one that you think suits your skills and stuff. What you'll do is, we can debate with each other, but this is just a first draft. You're not deciding this finally. This just helps us dig deeper into the top 1 or 2 with the time that we have. So put your character chip next to one of these and put your bead also next to one of these, and those would be things that represent your votes.
Which one do you want?
Oh, either one, mate.
Yep.
I just want to go.
What's that? What's the one that you guys?
Goblin up.
Goblin Uprise.
Yeah,
So
I
bead
think
is your second choice. Your player chip is your first choice.
Look, I think in terms of coolness,
Yeah, feel free to advocate.
that's
for
probably
each one.
cool, but I also kind of think it's a bit unachievable.
Oh, don't worry about that.
Yeah,
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 no, I
no.
guarantee
I
that
don't-
they're
And
all
then
equally achievable.
Probably just the make the, yeah, that one there. Thanks, Alenka.
that's.
Yeah, just kind of talk
was
meta
that one?
DM speak. I'm going to make sure that whatever you choose, it'll be as equals. All of them are equally potential.
Oh, I didn't mean unachievable. That's I meant sort of unachievable because like isn't Orgu like personally invested in?
As long as we
keeping
say
it?
we can protect him.
So I'm
Also
also
cool,
going
yeah.
to.
Yeah, so
sleep
part of
idea.
it will be assured
I'm
that
also
you
going.
part of success will be getting
those
on
two
board.
will
And then
actually.
So
in the
I'm
back way,
still
we
on
wake
my
him up.
player
Yeah, sure.
chip.
Yeah, if you want me to clarify my little scratched out notes here, I will.
Yeah, can you go over that first one again that everyone's has
Yeah,
voted for?
so you realize by looking at that Chaos Network map on Orgu's wall is that there's a large Chaos Shard, like football sized at least, Chaos Shard in the Cobalt area, behind the doors that you're never able to look past. It's radiating massive Chaos energy. The reason that you're not all feeling that Chaos energy is because that Chaos energy is being channeled and pointed north with something that Orgu's job apparently he's taken on himself to manipulate machinery and clamp this. He's clamping some sort of like a satellite dish to that shard, sending it north. So that means the Chaos energy is being diverted, sparing this area from being suffused with too much Chaos energy. The idea here is probably getting Orgu to do it because it's very dangerous to approach the thing, is to undo that thing, flood the area with Chaos energy, and then you think, well, that's going to interrupt the status quo, right? There's if people are not used to having crazy Chaos energy around, that'll certainly do something, and Chaos is kind of on your side. They have a beautiful defensive system here, but defensive systems tend to be fragile. So if nothing else, unleashing Chaos is probably to your advantage. What you're thinking is that it probably will freak out the Silvers. The Silvers are consuming Chaos Shards, and they're suffused with chaotic thoughts already, and it'll probably just overwhelm them and cause them
It'll
to.
probably ruin everyone else too, but you know, it'll be.
But again, I'm going to make so I'm going to make sure that you won't regret picking these based on sort of tactics and game dynamics. My job is to craft if you roll well. So all these can be made work by good rolls. All of them can be made bad by bad rolls. Everybody's got their chips and beads down.
Not
Yeah.
just yet.
That's fine. Yeah, I can go ahead and keep talking, debating, advocating one or the other.
What's the third? What's that one down there that I can't?
Goblin upright.
No, above that.
Make the sides appear unequal.
So-
So trigger a
That
civil
is-
war between.
That is those two are very similar in that sort of thing. Because
could
the
al-
goblins
yeah,
are going
you
to go,
could
yeah,
add these over.
yeah,
Well, I was thinking
upright.
you could almost merge them together, couldn't
Yeah.
you? If you
Yes, one of
wanted
these
to?
can become a tactic for the other. So some of these arrows mean that they could also become tactics for one of the other. I
You
think.
could say like into the reds, they'll
Start inciting
the
something
goblins are
a bit
going to
like
fight with
Chaos
you against the
Canoe.
silvers. you know,
The
so-
reason why I put in the break Ziggy, apart from all the other factions, the other two factions actually fear Ziggy. If we can make him look bad in front of them, which we've been able to see that we can do, why not just use that to
He does have a lot of
advantage to
power.
help
Yeah.
produce that civil war, that civil unrest? We can still unleash the chaos or on the board.
Not to shout your idea. We're still
Yeah,
brainstorming, right?
Yeah, still
well,
brainstorming.
Okay, then I'm
Go
not
for it,
gonna.
man.
Yeah,
not
yeah. So
gonna
don't
talk
worry about
down
knocking
it.
down ideas for now. Just you're trying to advocate why
Yeah.
someone should vote for it. If they don't vote for it, you've done your job.
They,
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't mean that I can't still cast
Well,
something.
they like chaos. We're going to
All
give
the
them
chaos.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
right.
We're going to give them the chaos they wanted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Either way, we
Yeah.
get chaos
Shrines
into
of
it.
Chaos
Yeah.
become super
Yeah.
chaos.
Okay.
I'm just.
They have
And,
achieved
and,
that
and
as
like I said, the more chaos we have, will also unsettle the reds, who are all about order. Right?
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
they're
I
all
think that the
about-
chaos is probably going to upset everyone. Like it will probably even impact us. But I think what Matt is alluding to is that because of the way that the sensitivities of the silvers, it might probably just
Especially,
ruin
yeah.
them.
Yeah,
Fuck
if
the
everybody,
status quo.
if everybody goes bad, like at the end of the Kingsman
Yeah.
in the church, yeah, that's what we're doing. That's what we want to do. Yeah.
We
Yeah.
got it.
I mean,
we,
it's
just
in-
have, we
in-
just have that soundtrack in our head.
In terms of it being pretty awesome, I think it's kind of up there on the awesome scale, personally.
I'm just going to look up this song on Spotify.
what's the outtakes of that?
Yeah, the
Country
church.
Road one,
yeah,
from
yeah,
the
yeah.
second one.
Oh god.
Take me home.
Okay. Debate's probably over. I'm just doing something to prepare for
Well,
the
just don't become a
next
suicide
section
bomber.
here.
Yeah.
That's not required.
Well, there's another option. as well.
Suicide sleep bomber, please.
Someone walks in with a confusion bomb.
Oh, that's an
Yeah.
idea. Make him sleep round.
It'll be like a Matrix movie.
See, I've got a feeling with this one, there's going to be one location that it all comes out of, right here.
No, that's Orgu's shrine.
You're right, Alenka?
See, with those
You don't seem
numbers,
terribly happy.
Oh, look, I've got a bit of slight headaches. I'm a bit off today,
Oh.
so I was...
with those,
No,
with
that's
those
all right.
numbers,
You're
right?
just really angrily
if you-
looking at the
if you
board.
use
It's like,
No,
oh, have we
this is
offended
just
you
a
with
rich
this?
face.
Yeah.
And you took out 10.
No,
There's
look,
a
just
number.
got
The numbers are already in balance.
I think it just
I
is
know,
that
that's what
weather
he's saying.
coming
Yeah, so
over.
you're
It's
already
just
creating,
getting me a little bit of a slight sort of
an imbalance.
headache
I
to
know,
my
but
sides. I'm
I'm
just
the-
like,
Whatever
The
confusion
qu-
we do,
I always
here,
think
but I'm not here.
that chaos one is the quickest way to kick it off.
and that's it. Yeah, that's the
Okay,
biggest
Sean,
imbalance.
Sean, with what you just said there, it's a good idea, but we're also going to have to point that out to the Reds before they start kicking our ass.
But you don't worry about the Reds so much. It's more the Silvers who with our asses. So
I'm just
Right,
ready
that might be
to
one
this
reason to choose
party
one or
up.
the other. Like, I'd really like to get rid of the Silvers rather than get rid of the Reds. That might
Yeah.
be something that
I wasn't here for fighting the Reds, but the Silvers are kind of annoying.
they are. Yeah, and they
The
whipped our
Reds
asses
aren't that helpful either.
several times. Several times. Yeah. So
Okay, well, let's dig into some of these. So,
think the drop star cities.
out of these, the most popular one is the top one. So let's explore that a bit. You're not committed to doing it, but we'll spend a little bit of time digging deeper. So this next thing here is you're going to put together your vision of how this is going to work. You'll learn things. You should remember or note some of the things I reveal here, because when it comes time to do the big roll, and I keep gesturing over here because you're going to be dropping the dice behind the screen, so I say the big roll. That's why I do that. When you do the big roll during this session, you'll name some of these things you might learn in this next scene as ways to get like a little +1 on your own roll. Or
Shit,
+2 on
who
your
wrote
roll.
down things about Orgu's map?
Well, we'll see. Yeah, stuff you've already noted,
Yeah.
or can remember, or can gather here.
I remember
I know.
some stuff.
yeah.
All right, so here's a
Channel.
vision of what happens when this edge is activated successfully. That with careful timing, you're all going to be in this room. Maybe some of you are going to work on being further up in the crowd. Like one of your people's jobs might be to penetrate the crowd with better disguises. But in any case, you'll be maybe at this end of the room. The show starts just like you anticipated, as Orgu laid out. The Silvers are arrayed up on stage and on crowd. And at some sort of cue, a prearranged timed cue or some sort of signal that you send, presumably to Orgu, but you don't have to commit to whether Orgu does this or not. All of a sudden, the Silvers clutch their heads and their eyeballs start burning. They get confused about who is their enemy and who is their friend. That's something that you've sort of felt when you're exposed to chaos energy. Like you get very confused about the reality of the world, and maybe they attack each other. Maybe they attack the Reds, and so instantly, one of the two main factions that are working for Ziggy is out of the fight, or even better yet, taking out some of your enemies. So you just imagine this queasy feeling that everybody gets that you somehow have to navigate and have sort of survive your own sort of chaos energy problems, but you think the Silver is going to be so badly affected it makes the fight better. That's the vision. So if everything goes well, it happens at the right time, it has the right effect on the Silvers. Your ally who does it, if it's Orgu, does the job properly, and you yourselves can manage the chaotic energy that is suffusing the place. So there's a few things we can do a scene here that will reveal more, and we might have a few ideas what those scenes are. So if you were to do something next hour or two to help set this up and explore this more, is there an area you want to explore, a person you want to talk to, or a thing you want to do that may work? Your primary characters can do this. If it's outside the inner shrine of evil chaos, it can be your backup characters are doing this on your behalf as well.
We kind of have to talk to Orgu, don't we?
Yep. So talk to Orgu as one. Okay,
Orgu is
great.
talking, yeah.
Yeah.
I also want to go back to the kobolds and open up that door to the
Okay.
That's
for
something
sure.
Orgu might be able to
yeah,
do for
but
us.
it's better to unlock the door now so that we can just see
Yeah, but
the
are
right
we
roll.
going to be able to do that?
No, but
Your backup characters
But
might.
very
So the good thing
stupid-
about multiple
very
characters is you
stupid
can tell a little
paladin
story
can
about how
do it.
your alt characters actually do that on your behalf. Or one of your followers.
One of your
Pogrim, for example, might do it on your
one
behalf.
of the factors.
Wouldn't-
No.
I thought that the whole thing was that Orgu used his bot.
Sure.
to work
Yes.
on.
Yeah.
These all play out differently. Again, I'll give a few ideas for what scene we're going to play out here, and then each of them will be equally effective. There's going to be fun things to do. So one is you talk to Orgu to convince them. The other one is that you use some of your agents to check out this thing yourself, or maybe set up to do this thing and not have
Or
Orgu do it.
combination.
Is there another scene that we could play? A third scene, or a place you could be, or a person you could talk to that I can make this scene about besides those two?
Well, it's just
Chop chop.
chop chop.
Chop chop.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, I smoked some drugs with her. I think she's sort of cool with me.
I don't think Chop Chop would go with that though, would she?
I don't think Chop Chop would want to be anywhere near this area.
Don't
I
you
know.
get,
As usual,
also
my job
affected
is
by this?
a good
Yeah,
die roll.
She's a silver. Yeah.
And also,
A
I've
good
got
die
to
roll
sleep.
will make it happen. So I'll
If
come
I
up
can
with
use
this story to make
sleep
that happen.
on Orgu, commits to them to just line up, let me sleep Orgu and Chop Chop, they will drop.
Do we want to sleep all the
Once the chaos
They
No,
set the
that's
chaos
okay.
off.
Yeah,
We sleep
yeah.
them.
Because
Okay.
that's what he's worried about.
Maybe it protects from chaos
I'm
rays.
thinking it's more going to protect from the gas when the thing drops.
I meant if it does protect from chaos rays, you could just give
Yeah.
it back to Orgu.
Just wear it anyway.
Okay.
I'm just thinking
And
like
not again. It's not again.
we promised to like
The
take
ghost-
care of them basically. Or we
And rubber
convince
ball, yeah.
Orgu to like let the chaos energy wash over, but only for like let's say 15 minutes, and then it will like automatically reset because he's a smart guy. He can
Yeah.
he could put all the chaos energy in, and then in 15 minutes later the system will auto correct itself
Or it
and
could be
turn it back the way.
What about even sporadically? So
Yeah.
so you get a break of bit
So
of chaos,
yeah,
and then you
you're
get a break
getting
of
ahead on how
lunacy.
this plays out, which is very good. Let's figure out just one scene where that will enable me to give you more information. 3 potential scenes you've done, all of them are great ideas, and all of them again should be equally effective. Right, my job is to write a story that's equally effective.
And Orgu likes you. He likes you.
Wait, well, that we're not executed yet.
Oh.
Of the 3, so do you all choose one of these 3 things? Do you want to have a scene where you're talking to Orgu, have a scene where you and your representatives are actually seeing the Chaos Shard, or a scene where one of your representatives is talking to Chop Chop about doing this job? So all 3 of these might forward this plan.
I personally feel like Orgu.
I'm happy to talk to Orgu. Yeah, he's the closest person.
because he knows the most thing about
Yeah.
this thing that is set up, right?
Yeah,
So call that options 1, 2, and 3, and we'll do a little vote on that.
yeah.
So you can debate your side, why you want to pick your.
Because
I
we
mean,
can
we
also
could send out
different
minions to go and sort this thing out, and we've been told that it's just a little satellite
And
dish.
if-
But is it just a satellite dish?
If Orgu wants to send help as well with our minions as well, we can use both those strategies.
Send our means to
Yeah.
smash up the satellite dish.
Yeah,
or if
Yeah,
Orgu
they're
just
probably all
refuses to-
Yeah,
involves
Orgu refuses.
operating the satellite dish and getting to the shard. This is just a little scene that helps you learn more about what you're getting
Definitely
into.
need
So
to
do
learn
you learn
more
more about
from
the
Orgu,
situation
yeah.
by
We should
talking to
talk to
Orgu, talking
Orgu.
to Chop
He
Chop,
has
or
to may
doing
know
the shard
most
yourself.
about this.
I
Yeah.
do have an idea involving Orgu.
Okay.
Okay,
one
so it
as
seems
well.
like the majority want to talk to Orgu. Anybody
Yeah.
got a
Yeah.
big
So,
counter
yeah.
argument for that? Okay, so talk to Orgu.
robbing and
He
Yeah.
doesn't seem to
But-
want for anything. It's-
well,
How
he
about
he
just
doesn't want to go.
talk to him as a person first
Does-
before we try and bribe him.
Well, that doesn't
Yeah.
doesn't want to get chaos.
Fine, we'll be
He-
moral.
Yeah,
He wants
yeah.
to do his work. He just doesn't
Well,
want to
just
have to deal with the rest.
Reward
of
him
the
then. Yeah, yeah.
Man, you're so cold-blooded, and I'm the evil guy.
You're not
It's
evil,
chaos
you're
now.
afraid. We
I mean,
know
at the
this.
end of the day, we need to try and convince him to assist us, because
Yeah.
if he doesn't want to assist us, then it's got to be.
Well,
really
the reason he
difficult.
won't want to assist is because he doesn't want
Yeah.
the chaos. So
Correct.
if you can
Yeah.
protect him from that,
There's always other ways to ask him.
Or
to
just
assist
convi-
us.
appeal to his.
Better nature. He seemed to have sympathy for what was going on with
Whatever the
this
fuck's going on.
this chaos ray going through the Pacific Solution Centre. So we could basically say, let's get this involved, finish what's happening here, and then part of Epic 2 would be like, let's go and then, deal with that mess we made. Like, we can say that
and
would be
end
the
it,
plan.
end it once and for all. Yeah.
Well, he
If-
doesn't actually need to be there because he's got the bot.
Mm.
But he
can
still
u-
knows more stuff. His bot's not going to know stuff. We
I
need
mean-
information.
I mean, he can be out of the way of any damage and things like that.
But it's not even
Well,
the
I think
damage because
he-
he's aware of what that chaos shard is doing outside of this local area.
Yeah.
So he'll know
Everywhere.
what sort of effect it'll have here.
So he's not. I don't think he's even
Which is
all
what
that
we
worried
want.
about himself personally
Yeah.
and
That's
his
why we need to
safety.
appeal.
He's looking across the whole Timberway Valley. What's happening?
If you got rid of him out of the equation too, I think it might raise some suspicion, right? Because isn't he's the one who's like coordinating the entire.
No one else knows
That's all.
about the bot but us
Mm.
and him.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
So, the following scene is what you figure out. You decide that Orgo's control room has got a good view of the stage, and you know that Ziggy is using the stage area, the elimination show area, as his sort of private office. And you know that they had a run-in recently, so you guess that let's sort of keep coming back to that control room, and spying through to see if maybe if we can pick up on a conversation between Orgo and Ziggy, get an idea of like what's the way to convince Orgu, to do this, to become your ally, and then talk to him after that. All right. So while doing so, you do manage to see something interesting. You see Orgu is smoking a joint on the edge of the stage, going around and sort of manipulating, the props and things like that. Ziggy has been, practicing his chords, but you can just tell that once Ziggy comes in, you can tell there's going to be a bit of tension in the air. And as Ziggy comes in, Ziggy starts saying like, "Yeah, Orgu man, I think if you're going to consume a ripe shard, man, before the show, it's really important to. This is going to be an especially aggressive one, with these fucking adventurers that are here. I really want you to hate the adventurers. I think you should take a shard that really, makes you sort of hate your old adventuring life, Orgu. I want you to maybe someone who's in charge of putting down like an insurrection of some sort. There's been so many adventurers like in oh man, what is it like and Orgu's like, man, I really don't need to take anything. So I don't need to take a shard. I'm already set. I've got a lot of stuff to do, and if I take a hating adventurer shard, I just feel like that's not as. Hey, Orgu, I've just noticed that. I know what makeup looks like, man. Those burn marks on your eyes, Orgu, I can tell they're fake. I can tell you haven't taken a chaos shard for a while, have you, Orgu? You gotta level with me, man. It's like, oh, yeah, well, yeah, I haven't done it particularly recently. I don't need to blast things into my eyeballs, man. I'm already full of amazing ideas. See, I've been on this strict drug regimen to keep my mind limber, and fuck that, man. You're going to take care. I'm going to check later. If your eyes are not fucking glowing, I'm going to come after you. So, and you can tell Orgu's really uncomfortable. You've known from your previous investigations and looking at his lab is like Orgu himself, he's just starting to get the shakes, It's like, why don't you take one right now? Look at this one, Orgu. Doesn't it look like a nice one? This is one that I got off of a police officer, up near Modeaheim, who really wants to put down all the different adventurers. I think if you take this one, you'll have a real hatred of adventurers. Some bad shit happened up there in Modeaheim, Orgu. And the Orgu's, no, just keep that thing away from me. It's like, what, are you scared of it, Orgu? It's like, no, I just, I'm fine, man. Like, look, you should be cool, Ziggy. You should trust me, man. Well, I don't know if I trust you if you're not using what I'm using, man. So they're having this big argument. At this point, Ziggy is screaming. He's like storming around on stage. You can see Orgu's expression. You can see that he's just looking desperate. Like the shard has been like sat there right like in his ashtray, and Orgu's like looking at the chaos shard. And he's like he stares at it. He sort of like picks away some like scabs on his eyes, and he sort of turns away again. And Ziggy's playing this really aggressive music. To see this great internal power struggle, he's scared. He's trying to resist some sort of great temptation as he's looking at this thing. At some point, Ziggy's like, I'm just going to leave you with this, man. I'm expecting you to stay here and think about this. You can't leave this room, man, until you really thought this through. I can tell maybe you're a little shy, so I'll just leave you to yourself, But it's right there, Orgu. It's right there. So, Ziggy leaves. Orgu there, he goes through the struggle, but after a few minutes, he just starts drinking beers. And he pulls out like there's a sort of like what look like goblin torture needles around. And he just starts sticking them underneath his fingernails. Like he's looking at the shard, and he starts sticking them on his fingernails. He's just wincing as he goes, and then it seems like he gets some resolution. And he walks up. He takes one last look at the shard, and he walks out. And you figure, okay, Orgu's in a really vulnerable state. It's a great time to talk to him. You go to his lab, so you know how to sneak around. You've got the combination lock to go in. And as you do, he thinks an ideal time to talk to Orgu to try to get information. One of you is going to be the one who's most excited about the convincing Orgu part. It's like who's going to be the one that's going to really try to get Orgu on side and learn as much as possible about this particular scheme, this unleashing the chaos thing. You'd use a skill, be one person. This is not super high stakes, this is not going to be a make or break, but it'll definitely give you more ideas. So one of you can be kind of the sponsor of this particular edge. You're the one, and the rest of the party is going to be there as well to gather information, but you're going to make the role that's going to see how successfully you can get Orgu to reveal more about how well this plan will work.
Can I volunteer someone?
Yeah.
I think Alenka should do it.
Agreed.
Should do
Agreed.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because you healed him, and he feels
Ah,
good. He feels good towards your blood.
true.
We should get so many Gigi beads for that.
and also
Someone's going to have to help me to say what to say.
Sure,
Yeah.
yeah. So give ideas for
Just give me a big hug.
Yeah. So
Covered in honey and grease still.
so when Smaragd does this, and you can get ideas from your companions here, you'll pick which skill you're going to use. And what are a couple world facts? You know, this thing about having healed him might even give you advantage, right? So I'd say that gives you advantage right away. This is an amazing thing you did. So you're in a unique position to do that. I'll write that down. But what's a world factor two that Smaragd can mention to really get Orgu on side? Because you're guessing that he's the one that's going to have to take the risk of going to that Chaos Shard.
Well, we know that he's put this thing in place because he's being affected. He was being affected by it. That's the reason why I set it up. And he knows that it's impacting the people in the PSC,
Yeah.
at which he does feel guilty about, we found out.
Ah, okay, yep.
And he just wants this over. He doesn't want to be forced into this corner like Ziggy's forcing him to be this way and to do this, and he doesn't want to do that anymore. So he wants it out.
Yeah. Well, we know
So-
that there is a
Yeah.
little bit of discourse between him
So-
and Discord.
Here's their chance to get out. Yeah,
Sure.
Let's take the chance.
Great.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm gonna advocate for something horrible because my character is
Sure,
amoral
sure.
as shit.
Go put it on the table.
What if we just I don't know, sort of got him hooked on something and manipulated it? Like it's
We won't need. We might not need
It's
to go
not,
that
this
far.
is not Oliver talking. This is Sariath
Yeah,
talking.
Schmaragd is not impressed either way.
All right.
No.
Besides which, I think the opposite might be a better idea.
Well, he doesn't want to go that path anymore.
Because we
So-
already know he likes drugs, magic items, sex. He's a real libertine. He's already, very indulgent
the
and
code.
into things.
He's a
Why do we
hedonist.
need to try and get him addicted to something when we already know he's trying to, cut himself off
Yeah,
from
exactly.
the Chaos Shards? He already
He's
knows.
vulnerable, and I think to myself, a vulnerable
Persuasion.
person we could use. We could worm our way in.
But we'd prefer
Like a
if he
snake
does
and
it
then use
willingly.
it.
We prefer
I
if
have
he
heard a
does it
veto on
willingly.
that. So very good idea, but
Yeah.
but you wanted the support of your group on this one.
I know.
I love the idea. Sorry.
I'm
Yeah, sorry.
trying
It's
to
a card. It's a
Trying
card.
to
That's
sabotage.
awesome. That's awesome.
It's
That's
one of
great.
the cards in it.
I'm ruthless.
Good.
Don't
good.
hold
I love
against
that.
me.
I love that.
Well, I mean, at the end of the day, one of his key objections is probably just going to be the fact that he's going to be affected by it again, right? So we've got to
So
try
we've
and
got to
find, try
protect
to
him for
find,
that. We will protect you.
or
No, but because
protect
it's
him,
a-
or just appeal to his,
Yeah.
to appeal more to the side of him that's like, fuck these guys because he hates them, and just
You-
like,
Look,
You have to
we
end this.
have-
This is the way of ending it. This is our way of ending it.
Yeah, that's
like
right.
if nothing else, we can. I'm going to put this out here.
Yeah,
we
please.
can sort of because we just heard Ziggy said that I want to see your eyes glowing. I don't want to see you faking that. With thaumaturgy, one of the effects of thaumaturgy is to make your eyes flash.
Oh.
Can we not? Can
Yeah.
can we not, as clerics,
Make it
transfer that and have his
Yeah.
eyes flash and get?
I
We've
guess
got the
so.
charcoals. I know Ziggy has said that he can tell that it's makeup, but we could.
No, I don't think he can.
No.
Well,
He's
well,
full of
he'll be
shit.
all
but
right.
at the
idea.
very
That's
least,
a great idea.
if I
Yeah.
can transfer my thaumaturgy,
Yeah.
or you
It's
could,
not a
it's a
channel
cantrip.
spell,
It's
No.
We're in
for
liberal mode,
for
so
story
yeah.
creativity. That's
no, I don't think it is, but
It's a cantrip.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I think in this, as you can tell, this is the mode where we're being kind of loose with the spell effects and be quite creative because you have a couple
Yeah.
hours to
Yeah.
sort of
Yeah.
to change
Maybe
the
this is
way
where
it
I
is.
ask
It's not
divine
in combat,
intervention
not stuff.
Yeah.
from.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't have an actual
Okay.
deity name.
Let
but,
me
you
stop
know.
you there because I think you've done plenty to
The
get
deity
all
of
5
what is.
possible beats. So you've come up with some great ideas. You're going to have an advantage because Smaragd did that during combat, healed, spent a spell slot instead of fighting the mech. Did Orgus. That's advantage. That's a huge thing here. And the most beats he can get is 5. You come up with some great ideas. One thing is his guilt about the PSC being affected. Like that beam is being directed through the Pacific Solution Center and is able to and is causing them to go crazy. So you can say like, well, at least those poor people will have some moments relieved from their suffering. That's definitely going to be effective. You know from listening to him and all those other the notes and stuff that he wants out. He feels trapped. You've seen this in this last scene. You've seen this by investigating that he feels stuck and hooked into something he wants to get out of. if you can figure out a way to go into his hedonistic side, so if in part of the appeals, like you have something that maybe, you know, appeals the side of him that loves sex, music, rock and roll, right? That kind of thing. If there's some way to sort of inspire that, that might be worth a bead out of the 5.
Pretty rock and roll way to kill people.
Okay, sure. Yeah, it should be part of your argument, appeal to sort of his hedonistic side. You've wisely identified that once he does this, he is going to be badly affected because the chaos energy is now going somewhere else. And I think maybe I'm giving you information they didn't earn, but I don't think so. The reason that he's diverting this energy away is because when the chaos energy is radiating, his temptation, his addictive personality is very much active.
You told us that.
You told us
Yeah,
that.
that's good. So you've wisely identified that. So the fact that you're bracing him for it, and he's going to be thinking of that objection, you're going to try to mitigate that objection. How we can survive it, is worth another point. And also this idea that, hey, we can use this thaumaturgy to make your eyes glow, so at that critical moment where Ziggy wants to prove that you're high, we have this way to do that.
He'll definitely want to have a one-up on Ziggy that way. Yeah,
Right,
he'll
exactly.
appreciate
Yeah,
that.
yeah. So we'll be able to act that out. Okay, so you've got as many advantages as possible, with 4 or 5, depending on how we play this out. So now it's up to you. What skill are you going to use? All right.
Can I just ask, while you're looking at that,
Yeah.
can I just ask the group here, does anyone still have drop shrugs?
Yes,
Yes.
Okay,
I still have a set.
so we can,
I know some of you sacrificed to make that confusion potion, but some
Yeah.
of you have yet more. I've
Yeah.
given away so many drugs during this game
No,
that you have more.
as I was transferring it over,
I-
I've still
I-
got mine.
Yeah, I sacrificed mine.
Okay,
so
but let's
I'm
focus on this moment now. What skill are you
Look,
going to use? Rob?
I don't want to do this via intimidation, but
Okay.
that is a +3.
Mhm.
My persuasion is only a +1, so unfortunately I feel that intimidation would be better, or again appeal to his survival, the survival of us, survival of him, which is +3. But I know survival's not quite right.
Well,
Oh wait,
I'm-
insight.
Intimidate him with
Insight
Insight,
work?
yeah, you're talking to him. Insight would definitely be a good one.
Because that's my other +3. Because
Okay.
again, athletics
Well,
or
insight is about
medicine are not
people
going to
and
work.
things, isn't
Mhm. Yeah.
What
yeah.
about reversing the intimidation,
Yeah, that's
like
bad.
the intimidation that Ziggy's giving towards him, and sort of say, well, this is what Ziggy's giving towards you.
Ooh, because you know intimidation really well. You can say like, Ziggy is controlling you through intimidation.
Yeah,
and
he's
here's
trying to
ways
force
to
you
fight
to do
against
this.
that.
Yeah.
So it's not
Okay.
you have to intimidate it.
Yeah.
You use your knowledge of intimidation. That's an
Yeah.
interesting idea. So I'd say all those things you mentioned have a +3. They're all good ideas.
Yeah.
Just depending on your role, they'll change the nature of the things you find out. Which one
Okay.
appeals to you the most? Yeah, they're all equally likely to succeed with equal effects.
Yeah. Insight or intimidation? Let's go. Intimidation.
Okay, all
Because I don't
right.
use
It doesn't sound that bad. It's not.
Yeah, exactly,
It doesn't
yeah.
have to be that
It'll
bad.
be an interesting story.
It's just
The
it's
power of
understanding
suggestion
intimidation,
part.
All right.
whether you use it yourself or someone else uses it.
Coercion.
Maybe just that sort
You
of
can
I'm going
identify
to
that
be
behaviour.
strong and
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
sort of I'm just
Your
going to
character's
be strong
just an
and
asshole.
direct.
He is,
Maybe
Yes.
that's how I
And
feel.
using this idea that you're going to actually talk the language of intimidation, not to intimidate him yourself, but
No.
to sort of get him to realize
You
that
understand where it's being
he's
used.
being pushed under the thumb.
intimidating behaviour. That's
Yeah,
what's
I think
happening
that's
to you right now. Yeah.
Okay.
good. Is there anything else that you want
I
to
am
mention?
woefully
If you had a sentence or two that summarized your argument, do you have any ideas for anything you'd say?
Italy like a domestic violence
There
round
was,
table.
there was one
Hi,
other
my
way
name's
I
Shmara.
could have
I've
seen
got a
it, but
problem. Hi, Shmara.
No, I think this is great. All I'm looking for now, like if you want to, is that is there a couple sentences that Shmarag would say that would sort of summarize this argument? What's a couple sentences that
What
would
about-
summarize this argument?
Start-
Let us let.
Oh, sorry.
Oh God, I don't know. Just we know that you are better than what Ziggy thinks you are.
Mm.
We know that you are fighting against the Chaos Shard energy yourself and fighting against the Chaos Shard energy across in a greater realm and a greater plane.
And I need a really nice
Yeah.
punchy line, and I don't have one.
That's good. You're getting there. You're getting there. That's good. That's good.
Just because you fall down in the
Yeah.
mud doesn't mean you
Yeah.
have to stay there with the
You need to
pigs.
start waving your
Oh, I
fist.
like
Oh,
that
okay.
one.
All right, great.
That's a
All
good
right.
one.
All right, good.
That
Yes.
could work.
Good, good. And of course, you're all in the room. So even though, so you've opened the door, and then you toss in that line as well. So just as Schmaragd is like, I'm trying to get this across, you definitely see recognition dawning on his face, and you land with that line, and that puts it over. So go ahead and roll your d20, 2 of them, with intimidation on the +3, and we'll have all these other beads here. So I know what the DC is.
Hold my hands.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, that
good.
didn't work.
Nine,
Yeah, nine's average fine.
12,
He's
It's
good.
kind of forsaken us here.
Nine's a solid.
17.
Great, yeah. 9
17.
is solid. 17, that beats the DC. Good
Awesome.
job. Okay.
Praise
Nice.
He-Man.
Yes. All right.
Oh, good.
Okay.
One true God.
Oh God, don't. This is really
Yeah, you unlock this thing
Copyright
that
strike
you
incoming.
realize about this, and he reveals, as you already know, but he talks a bit about himself, like, I'm not against having a good time, but I kind of got too deep into all this. I started doing the shards, and that just really fucked up my brain. I forgot who my friends were. I lost my party. I used to be an adventurer like you all, and I kind of lost my way, and
I
I
took an arrow to the knee. Sorry.
yeah, I just kind of got,
Thank you.
I pissed away all of my relations, and I just ended up here. I wanted magic items, I wanted sex, I wanted the access to all the threads of power here. I just fucking got lazy. Like hits his stomach. He's like, I got lazy. I used to be better than this. I'm like a pig down in the mud, just like this dude over here says. Like, I mean, it's gonna suck, right? I'll send my bot over. I've got to make sure that with this heightened scrutiny that nobody figures out that the bot, isn't me. But I've gotten away with that before. I'm just, Ziggy's just so fucking paranoid. That's a factor I'm a little worried about. I'll send the bot in through where the kobold area is. I need you to put a word in for the kobold not to stop that, because maybe the kobolds are keeping an eye on the chaos shard. So hopefully that works out well. I usually have to go there only every few months, right? Because the machinery breaks down, right? The chaos energy sort of makes it turn into different elements. It turned out one time was like covered with kitten fur. How the fuck that happened, I don't know. So you have to readjust it. So the bot readjust that there.
Do they need to disable it, or do they just need to pluck one
Yeah, just,
wire out
my
of
bot's
it?
going to do it. It's just, I have tools. You've seen some of my tools there. It's just basically just got loosening some of the nuts and just having things sort of fall down. The thing is that if you don't mind, after a little while, I'm going to want to attach that thing. Like, you don't want it to stay off permanently, do you? You want to be off long enough for the fight to happen and me to get a signal, release it, and I'm just going to need to resist all the crazy shit that I'm going to be dealing with, but I'm going to want to reattach it. Is that right? Like, you got maybe 5 minutes of this. Now, you all know that a combat is at most a couple of minutes long. So as long as the timing is right, you know that that's probably fine.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep.
Right.
That's
We'll
pretty
give you
much
some
what I think
stuff
we're
to
thinking
help
anyway.
help
You
you
talk
out.
about Uber and find
We've
what's
got some
this
drugs
Yeah.
here.
time for
Yeah,
that.
to-
We can start
And
crossing
if
time.
we all come out of this, like, I'm still available, to help y'all out. I know you've
Drugs
got
is shit.
bigger ambitions, because you're on the rise. You adventurers, you remind me of me, right? You've gotten stronger. I've been watching you through the red mirrors and all that stuff. You've gotten so powerful in the last few days. You're on to a really great track. I want to help you out, and you kind of remind me what it's like to be heroic. So you now have gotten some things that you can mention as possible vulnerabilities. So he mentioned a couple things that could go wrong, a couple things he's going to have to deal with. He's confirmed all those things.
Okay.
And so if you choose this as your edge, you're going to want to mitigate some of the things that can go wrong or give him an advantage on things, on pulling this off. But it seems like it's viable. You just now have some ideas about how to make it a little more viable.
I super have an idea.
Yeah.
So I've got these mirror shards, and if I press them together and use my own blood, I can make a two-way zoom mirror that we can accurately, exactly when we need the chaos to go down, we can just go, Ziggy, Orgu, now. And then we can
To
just
do
go.
the signal. Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay, good.
Power
Maybe mirrors could do that, yeah.
Also knowing
He'll be in the room waiting.
Yeah, and that means we can talk to him from wherever.
We've got some sway with the kobolds, right? Because even though we didn't
We
we didn't particularly ally fully with them, we are still in
left
their
on very good
favour.
terms.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Correct. So we might be able to funnel a message
Because
back
was
to them.
Duck Duck
Also,
not a
they will
kobold?
buy.
A back as a kobold.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yes, yeah.
Yeah.
We hired
We're
Celia.
stuck where we are, but we might be
No,
able to funnel
But
a
just
message.
Yeah.
talking with Orgu, we'll also find out the itinerary and where everything's going to be situated as
Good.
well, so we'll plan that tactics. Where are you going to be at this time? Where are you going to be at this
Right.
time?
And then we just have to try and work
who's
out
coming in this door? Yeah.
how to
Well
address
done,
Ziggy,
everybody.
Ziggy
Yeah,
potentially
mirror shard.
catching on
Yeah.
that Orgu's bot is out and about.
Okay. So that is one edge, and that might be the one that you vote for. So this whole Unleash the Chaos looks like it's very viable. You have a lot of ideas how you all can contribute. We do have time to check out the second most popular edge, which is making the sides appear unequal. So let's do a little scene here where somebody else can take a lead and do some dice to figure out how this goes. So, and of course, all those debates you have, I don't want to cut it off, but they're only relevant if you pick that of the two edges, and that's what the rest of the session's about. As you can see, there's a lot of planning.
So if there's confusion, they're going to think confusion will cause the thing. But yeah, just on that line. So yeah, if I said before, like if you use a sleep spell and took out 10, there's the sides are uneven then because it's 10 people not actively participating. So
Can someone enlighten me? Because I feel like I've missed this along the way. How close is that tension to, like, how simmering under the surface is that tension
it's always
of
there.
the silvers and the reds being the fact that they have to cooperate with each other but they hate each other? Like, so is it going to make a difference that the numbers are uneven?
Yes.
I
Well,
thought,
yeah,
I
because-
thought we got an insight in one of the
Because
previous
the two,
sessions.
Okay.
because of the way of getting in there, you had equal numbers can go, and it
And
keeps the
also-
balance and keeps that thing. So that one side can't. Oh, you've got 20 more people in, 20 more of your members in than us. So that's not fair. So there's a fairness thing there.
It's
and a-
not. It's not to like one or two people over. That's no. That's a problem. It's more. Yeah.
Yeah,
you
like
said,
if you said, oh, there's
5,
an
10,
extra 50
20.
people.
And we
50,
know they hate each other
members,
because every time
yeah.
they travel through the crap together, they separated because they're like.
Yeah.
You
There's a reason why.
kitties.
There's a
Well,
reason
it's
why
almost
they
like it's
have
going to commit a
separate
race
doors
war
and
crime
everything.
Yeah.
there.
I'm just.
Okay,
I'm just
great.
double checking something.
And also along that same line with
So
the
what's
Goblin Uprising. So if you can suggest that the goblins are on the red side or the
We're going to
silver
have a
side.
species war, like a pong rom. That will just go a bloody pong.
Well, it's such
Go
a-
down.
yeah.
There's
I
a
mean,
lot of-
they
there's
do
a lot of
ide-
racial
they-
stuff there
Think of
already,
like
so-
examples in history where two great ideologies really fought against each other. So demographically, the Reds and Silvers are basically the same. They all look like kind of lapsed adventurers. So they're elves and dwarves and all that. Certainly, the Reds tend to have fewer elves because people don't they aren't treated very well if they're an elf within the Red thing. But there's still some who are hanging on. Most things they have some great ideological differences. So this scene is about. What scene can you do? What location can you check out, or person can you talk to make a little miniature scene with one roll that depicts this, where you're trying to get the red and silver sides to either be unequal to each other or appear to be unequal to each other, or otherwise, conducive to one side attacking the other. So the main thing is, in this fight, at the critical time where they should be unified against you, they're fighting each other. That's the critical moment that happens in the battle. One of the ways you've done that is like if they are actually outnumbered or they think they're outnumbered or outnumbering, they'll and there's some sort of especially inciting incident. They'll trigger the civil war. They might say this is our moment to finally get rid of those bastards.
Well, that's where we'd have to bring in our alt characters, wouldn't they? Because there's already 5 on the that we could dress up. To be on the other
Silvers,
side because
and then
they
we dress
came
as-
through the silvers, didn't they?
We dress ourselves up as silver, so it makes
Yeah.
it like the numbers becomes like 10
Yeah, with
extra
this,
people
so
in the room.
because we'll have a lot of moving parts, we'll focus on what your primary characters do. Your supporting characters can help by smuggling items in or from the outside, but I can't have you use your alt characters as props because I want them to feel heroic, and I don't want them to be in the room not doing heroic
Oh, it's
things.
just a
So having them stand in as silvers probably won't tell the story very well, but they can help out in other ways.
Dress a few of the goblins up in costume.
Say again?
Just a few of the goblins up in costume.
I was going to say, could they not grab the props from the dress up room?
Interesting. Yep. So these are all different things that if you develop this edge, you might learn. So you might go to the dress-up room and say, like, we want to figure out, whether that's
Oh,
viable. We
I
might
can
want to
speak
go
goblin.
to,
There we go.
might go to the goblins
Yeah,
to try to
I
figure
know.
So
That's a bit more
The,
goblin.
the information that they get about the numbers possibly comes from the font. So if you can,
right.
Fine, man, but you.
So some of these are tactics, yeah. So some of these like giving silvers the shards may cause them to be overconfident or underconfident. Having was the control of the fount via Giles, that can kind of be used as a tactic, to focus into this as well. But all we're doing now is just picking a scene. So what's one location and or person that somebody could do they think will get juicy information about how to make this work.
where's the
Giles.
location? Yeah.
Top
So one idea is Giles. Yeah.
top two, Giles.
So you go back to the classroom.
Yeah. Fountain classroom. So that's
Because
one thing.
he seemed to be kind of a little
Yeah.
put
And
off,
that's
put
one
off by
scene.
put off by the entire thing, but he has to go along with it potentially.
Because he's doing what, level 1 in induction for like the 20 millionth time.
It's spoken like a teacher. That's from a teacher's perspective. It's like, how many freshman inductions do I have to do?
That's right.
Okay, that's one scene. Do we have competing ideas? What's a different scene, a different place, location, or person that you think might get you information about how to make the sides look or be unequal?
Was there any people when we fought the Reds or the Silvers who we could utilise via our alternate characters?
Well, anyone arriving, if they're arriving in through the two gates, if there was some sort of misinformation there,
Well, could we
that could be a good scene there.
Could we use our alternate characters to try and just like allow people through the other door,
Yeah.
for instance?
Can we?
You know, because you need someone in the Silvers and you need someone in the Red door.
What
Well,
about
they
even-
came through the Silver door, so
Yeah.
just sit there and have your hand on the buzzer and
Yeah.
let all the Reds come in,
If Reds were coming through the Silver Door, or how is that possible?
or vice
You know,
versa.
yeah,
whatever.
yeah. So
Do we actually need silvers in the room? Or could we confuse the Reds to make them think that there are so many silvers in the room
Yes.
that they just panic?
and they panic and then they'll attack out
Yeah.
of panic, out of fear.
It doesn't, we don't actually
So that'd
need
be a scene that might happen in that sort of airlock area.
Yes.
But we'll develop that more if that gets picked. Okay,
Because
so
if that
is there a
could
third?
be a bit
Yeah.
of a bottleneck. So if
Yeah.
you can
So-
bottleneck it there, it
Good.
stops a lot of people coming in as well. So it sort of prevents
Alright.
a lot of future.
So one idea is
damage.
Giles in the fount in the classroom. Another totally separate idea you could pick instead is that double gate airlock area, using that somehow.
This might
Is
be
there a third
going
one?
back to the idea that we had before with getting the goblins on side. And I know I've said it to you, and you've just said that you might do it. The immunity idol idea. We offer to give the goblins an immunity idol if they dress up as silvers. And I'm talking about we do it to 2 or 3 different groups of goblins.
Yeah.
So they all
And
dress up as
they
a-
all think they're going to get it. Yeah.
If we can find out who's the lowest on the totem pole, or the lowest on that list,
Who'll be the
and
most
just
desperate.
give it to all 3 of them,
That's awesome.
and
Okay.
they just go,
This is-
yes, we have an
this is a
immunity
fun-
idol, we
this is
can't
such a funny
die.
idea. That's great. Okay, so we have 3 candidate things. Does anybody who was dying to put a 4th one on here? So one is number 1 is Giles' classroom. So the scene could be in Giles' classroom. Could be the airlock area. A scene that investigating and doing things in the airlock area. The other one is a scene with the goblins and the immunity idol. Okay, and all of them have equal potential to just
can
give
see-
more information
I
about
can
how
see
to
2 and
make.
3 probably even blending somehow.
Yeah.
Because it's good to focus, yeah. I mean, we might borrow from one or the other, but then
We
I'll
can get
core
someone
out.
from 3
Yeah, and
into
so that's only-
number 2's there to let everyone else in.
Okay, so everybody stick out 1, 2, or 3 fingers.
I don't know. Oh, yeah. Was that 2 or 3? Yeah. What would it be 2?
Yeah!
Number 3 wins
Thank you.
with the
I
the
didn't even look
tiebreaker.
at what you guys are doing. Sorry.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. No, it was evenly split between 2 and 3, and so yeah.
Oh, sorry.
There was
no.
tension in
That's
the
great,
air.
that's good,
I'm,
that's good.
I'm not with it.
No, that's good. Actually, I
I've got.
prefer the vote to be blind. Usually, it's hey, everybody close your eyes and shoot. And I thought, oh well, it probably won't be that fraught of a decision. I didn't realize there'd be such tension on that.
I was
They
half
usually have
expecting
people
you to
vote
put
Grab
silent.
your pens, boys. We're after them.
No, oh, no.
This
Like I
is
said,
just a
I'm a
minor
bit out
scene.
of it, so I'm just like I'm not even.
Okay.
I'm starting to get like not quite migraine, but you
That'll-
know how like when you just starting to get like on one side and you're like
behind the
talking
eye.
to the goblins rather than
not
doing
quite
the
behind the
other
eye,
thing
but to
anyway,
the
so-
side. It's sort of a bit.
All right.
You might want to drink some
So
water.
this is something where the goblins, they all exist outside of the inner shrine, so this is a way that you might think of your alternate PCs, right? So amongst your alternate PCs, let's figure out who's going to make this roll, and you as a group of alternate PCs, Tiffany and all the other types, are all moving around, and you make your way into the goblin cave with some confidence, and you're overhearing them, and you hear them talking like this. They're debating about the elimination shows. Like, who do you think is going to be eliminated? I don't know. I think it's them. I think it's going to be the shitposting clan that's going to be eliminated. Oh no, I think it's the cow killer clan that's going to be eliminated. Oh yeah, but the machine that they got. Oh, those machines were not very. That machine is just a stupid belt. It's all rusty. That's not. And they're debating a lot. Amongst that, you're able to go into a cave that you feel like they sound like they're conducive to being talked to. They sound desperate. You listen to a bunch of different caves, and there's one that's like, I think we are fucked, mates. I think that we are going to get eliminated. It's like, well, don't talk so loud. You know what happened to the last group that thinks they were going to eliminate? Don't talk about it. I just have a very bad feeling about this. I don't think we can rebel. I think that we just have to go in there and take our lumps. But you know, let's just pray to Maguliet, I guess. We know we're going to die. Let's just hope that our afterlife is as good as possible. I think we'll just spend our time praying, mates, because I think we're done for. So you have a group that you've identified as probably feeling like they're on the bubble, though they're not going to rebel. They're not going to dare sort of make so they're just preparing themselves for death, essentially. And they talk about the afterlife somehow. What is one person that has a character that has a skill that you want to do? Again, all these are good ideas to get more information. So in the situation, what's a character and a skill that you think could work?
Well, I think survival would be really good because they're so desperate now. They'll take any option.
That's an idea. Yeah,
Yeah.
who's got multiple ideas? Yeah.
Or someone that's got a really high
Anyone offering any other option than what's happening before them right now is
survival could definitely be a good argument. Insight could be a good argument because you're talking to them. Insight's useful when you're talking to people.
My character definitely does not have either of those.
Valerie's got good intimidation. Well, +3, but you know.
Just to spread things around, we'll probably have a different player role as much as that's cool.
I kind of liked what Oliver you said before with your character's too stupid to like think it's bad to just walk into a goblin den.
Yeah,
It's got really high persuasion. It's got +5 persuasion.
She's got +5 persuasion.
Yeah.
And
So you just
wouldn't
like
consider it even a bad idea. She's
maybe you just
super-
happen to
You
find
might-
yourself
you might
in
wanna
this like,
have something
oh,
on top
what the
button
fuck?
and-
Where am I? Hey guys.
Hey guys, how you doing?
Yeah, I think we're building the scene already. Okay, I feel the vibe on this one. I think it's gonna be Tiffany. Yeah,
Magulier, hey, yeah, I like him.
What language?
everybody's able to play Tiffany.
Tiffany speaks 2 languages, and I haven't written down, but I will.
Is
make
YouTube comment one of the 2 languages that she speaks?
Instagram.
It must be Valley Girl. That's where I'm getting. I'm getting Valley Girl.
Here we go.
She's such a versatile
It's just a.
So you-
just a
you've gotta use the word
standard
like a
between
lot.
Two peaks.
Don't worry. Here we
You're
go.
a-
Wait, let's get this.
You're a vlogger.
Yeah, but I'm talking
Yeah, yeah.
in this context.
Hey guys.
Okay, so
Character development.
what are a couple elements of how you put this together that might give you 1 or 2 or more beads on this roll?
I'm just gonna go with Magule is I reckon is a god because I worship a god, they
Yep.
worship a god.
Yeah,
We're
yeah,
pretty similar, really.
yeah, sure,
Tiffany's that's Tiffany's.
yeah, right, okay, good. All right, cool.
She also would think that like they're just not bad guys. It's just misunderstood these goblins.
Okay, something more can.
they're really quite cool if you think about it.
It's a good thing they're not talking too loudly about their failure because it means that they have an opportunity.
Yeah. Like,
Yep.
and I'm gonna ask them if they've been interested in buying NFTs and things, and just a whole.
Yeah. Anybody got other ideas that Tiffany could work in?
Well, if you went in there and said, "Hey guys, you don't like this whole dying thing," well, how about if you
It
can?
super sucks.
Well, no, hey
wait,
guys,
let
I
him finish,
found
let
this
him
I can
thing.
release you from this. Yeah.
I found this
I
thing.
found a better option than just dying.
Look, I'm not going to be participating in this thing. This is a you thing. But look, you're collecting bits, right? Of scrap metal. Well, look, I found this bit of scrap. Maybe you can use that, and they'll have a look at it and be like, "Oh, it says immunity." And then the idea kind of just comes upon them, and they're like, "Oh, it says immunity," and then you can be like, "Oh, well."
If
You
you
know,
would like
you
this,
could really help some friends of mine out if you like did something.
It's like immunity from death, you know.
Yeah.
Dying's like super lame.
it really sucks.
All right, I'm going to tie all this together. Okay, so we have some good pluses on here, even before we do the one-line performance thing. Magubliet being a deity as well, you can tell they're very religious. So you could, if you speak some God language, that's definitely going to get through them. Now that's a way to get
Speak
a
fluent God.
plus one.
Jesus, praise Jesus. Jesus loves me. Click like and subscribe.
I think you get a bonus. Any idiotic reference to NFT or like and subscribe or any sort of dumb internet meme reference, of course, will be worth something because the goblins, I think, are quite vulnerable to this
I'm a
particular
cat.
thing.
Meow.
This is a better option than dying, right? 'Cause they're basically resigning themselves to their fate, but they are now worried about what kind of afterlife they'll have. You can assure them, that maybe Magubliet doesn't have to see you right away. You can do this. If you do this, we can take down this whole organization. That's what you're doing, basically. It's like, why do this? It's because we think that you won't have to have elimination shows anymore. You won't have to worry about this. So definitely that's something you've identified. And the scrap being the immunity idol is also just silly enough that just might
Saving
work.
your fellow goblin.
Yeah, like goblins, other goblins are pretty cool. I think.
Okay, so all of you are in the background ready to go in, but I think maybe Tiffany's here alone
Just whisper behind a corner. Say the line.
Okay,
She just keep it.
all right, Tiffany, you're on. Let's see if you can get all
Just
these
move
points.
your lips and we'll mimic. That's right.
She doesn't exactly walk in there. We just have to give her a quick.
She just stumbles sideways and just
So-
goes.
We're poking her with a stick.
So,
Yeah.
Tiffany, what's a 1 or 2 sentence thing you can say in this that wraps with me?
Like dying super uncool guys, and I'm wondering if like you don't want to die because like death seems sort of boring if you think about it
And
long enough,
permanent.
and it's
It's so
like
permanent.
permanent and stuff. And
It really sucks.
I know this really cool trick. Like, if you just invest with these bitcoins, you can get like this immunity idol that will make like not like die, and that's like cool if you think about it. Like and subscribe and share, darlings.
And we've got all
Praise
these free
Jesus.
questions. We've got all these free questions for you.
Okay, that's great. I'm giving you 5 points total for that one. That's great. I was like, oh, yeah, like and subscribe. I've never heard of that before, but I certainly want to do it.
It's
What is this? This scrap? Is this an NFT? What is the etching? Does it use crypto?
It's like like and subscribe is a prayer, and NFTs and cryptos, they're like donations to the church. And like, if you think about it,
Oh, it's like so you visualize the success. When you visualize success, it comes to you magically.
Oh, it's a secret.
like it's
Through
just
the
sort of
power
like
of Magulia.
a secret that you have to.
Oh, I like secrets.
It's like a pyramid sort of thing where you give upwards and it donates
Ah,
down.
it's
It's
top
like-
of pyramid.
It's trickle down sort of stuff.
Well, trickle down, that sounds very
Robinson
smart.
shit.
Right now, you're at the bottom of the pyramid, under the pyramid.
But if you invite more people into the
You wanna get
pyramid, you'll
They'll lift
you'll
you
go
up.
That's right. Yeah. Okay, you got a +5 on persuasion on this particular thing, Tiffany.
I
I'm
love
so confused about where this went. It started off being
But
like,
we-
like
we-
and subscribe, and it just turns into multi-level marketing.
We need
That's
He-Man
different.
That's
on
what
the-
it always ends up.
But,
Yeah.
but they've got costumes as well with that multi-level market.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh,
That's the
That's
D12.
a
That's a nine. That's
Nine.
right.
That's
That's
the
the
D12.
wrong
which
dice.
is-
Oh, my bad.
Oh, did you roll a d12?
Yeah.
Totally Tiffany.
Yep.
18.
18, hey, better yet. Okay, great.
So
Oh, that's
18
huge. They get all the
plus-
math. 18 plus
5.
5 plus 5.
Plus
Plus
persuasion?
Yeah,
is
plus persuasion.
5.
so 28.
28.
28. Yes, that is more than 5 over the DC.
That's what I thought. I thought we were gonna do it, like, at least 5
over. Very
over.
successful.
You've got the entire goblin horde.
I know.
Following
Excellent.
Tiffany.
Actually, that's 10 over the DC. That's 10. That's more than
They
10 over
convince
the
other
DC.
goblins as well.
It's
to
critically
join their
effective.
movement.
Woo girl. Woo!
Woo!
Hey, you've unionised them.
No, we're just like part of a
Yeah.
multi-level pyramid
This is
scheme.
kind of just
Okay.
the Goblin
It's called
Uprising
the-
with
it's
more
called-
steps.
The golden triangle.
The golden triangle.
First of all, please, we have goblin stew. You must eat. You realize by looking at this goblin stew, it's like, hey, this sort of reminds you of like health potion stuff. Like they pack up in these sort of takeaway containers, enough for the whole party. That the good
Tiffany
thing.
puts some in her pockets. It just starts leaking out.
Save some of them.
So it's like a weak potion that can only give you like a maximum of just a few hit points, right? But you think that you can distribute. There's 3 doses of this, right? So you have 3 doses of stew. When somebody drinks the stew, this has to be sipped, over a minute. So it's not drink combat. So before combat, 3 people can drink this stew. It can't get them over half of their hit points. So it can only raise you to half your hit point maximum. But it will be like a healing potion that can't get you more. So it's like 2d4 plus 2. So yeah, it's like limited healing potions. 2d4s. The plus 2 is too important for goblins. So 2d4s. So you have 3 doses of stew. Each one will give 2d4 hit points. But whoever drinks it can't go more than half of their hit point maximum. So if somebody's really hurting in this group, it'll help get them up off the floor.
We'll have to wring it
Or
out
you can
of
use
my
them later.
pants.
Yeah.
We'll have to wring it out of my pants.
This is the alt characters, not I don't know.
This will be smuggled in so that it'll be happening because the goblins will carry it in. Like you can, Tiffany can say like, oh, could you like give these to like some of my
Like a
friends that are
wet
in
pair
there?
of pants. You're just confused. I'm holding
And so that's the bit. You did so well that they decide to let you in on serve goblin stews. That's a big extra benefit. But also you completely convince them. Obviously, you do so well that they are really fired about this immunity idol thing. In order to get that immunity idol, they say that basically the first thing is you think that if they dress up as either reds or silvers. I think you're so successful that you just know instinctively they're better off getting away as silvers. Silvers are random, they're chaotic.
Yeah.
Also,
We know
the
what
reds
dress
are.
up cupboard is.
Yeah. You know that the reds are sort of big and strong, and goblins are small creatures, so you just think they'll be better. So you're going to dress them up as sort of like silver idiots that get in. But also, how are they going to get through? You, as the alternate characters, let's use some of these other ideas about the airlock. Is you're right. The key of this is the airlock. When the airlock fills up, each side inspects the other and says, okay, there's equal numbers of reds and silvers, now we both agree. You know, if there's a side that's in the minority, they're not going to go through. You, alt characters, you cleverly you dress yourself up, you know, to look like your reds, right? So you're 5 of the, quote, reds, and there's a few genuine reds, and then there's a bunch of real silvers on the other side, including your goblin friends. You go in, but when we go back, you kind of let yourself back out again. You do it several times, so you just keep masquerading as reds. So by the time that everybody looks like, I thought there more reds came in here. So you're changing so you know that if this goes well, you're going to change the way. What I'm doing is giving you ideas for how to make this edge work. Now this is assured. These are all things that work. The stew is assured. You've definitely got that. But having the airlock work, having the goblins keep their nerve is part of this edge. If you pick this edge, you're going to have to convince the goblins to keep their nerve, you know, to not blow it, not be detected with this airlock trick. And then have the goblins effectively look like silvers, you know, dress them up properly. So, if you pick this edge, you all have something that you can do to pull it off. Okay. Very good. So, if you just written down, you have 3 doses goblin stew, just write down 2d4, half HP max. And write down the date here, so just write down 17th of August, and I'll
Is that all of
so as long as
So is that all of us? Or
no, it's just
Tiffany?
Tiffany. So you have them now, Tiffany, but they can end up in
Pants.
anybody's hands.
wet pants with.
You did
So
say
kill
they
it
came in containers,
eyeball.
right?
Yes,
Like
they come in
takeaway
No, they're in
containers.
a wet. They're in, like
She took the takeaway containers, like, oh, that's nice. She opened up and like poured it into it.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
and now we have wet pants that you can bring out dogs.
See, it's a way of carrying it around.
Yes, yeah, very efficient way to carry it.
Pocket fuzz.
It's a great way to it's a great way to smuggle it in. You know, when they have the wand, it's like no takeaway containers in
You
your
just
pockets. There you
rehydrate
go.
Let
All right.
lint extra flavour.
What was the D4 on that? Was it
2d4.
Yeah.
So
Is it- was
2d4 with the maximum. So it just goes.
2d4 or
2d4.
d4 plus 2?
No, I was borrowing it from healing potions, but healing potions are better.
2d4 max?
Yeah, 2d4, and then but you can't get more than half of your hit points that way.
Max half hit points. Cool.
So,
Yep.
This is
But those
really
are items
hard.
that you can use or not use. Yeah.
This is really hard now because I kind of like. I think that the first option is really cool, but at the same time, it's like almost just too hilarious to pass up.
That's what the next thing is. So we'll take a break. During the break, you do whatever you like. But one thing you can talk about is between any of these edges, you can vote for any of these edges. Just that the 2 that you've developed, you know, that seem to be exciting are the 2 that we've just covered. But you can change your mind and do a 3rd one. But we're going to pick one edge, and you're all going to do a big roll that dictates how well it goes. So we'll do that after the break.
Cinematic.
For break officially. Welcome back. So, this is just debating which edge to get. Again, the elimination show's tonight, and you're going to try to get the best advantage. Remember that of the ones that you vote here on the board, all of them will be equally effective. Go for what's coolest. If you're undecided because they both sound equally cool, then you can think of, well, I'd rather get rid of the reds than the silvers, or I'd rather use these. I think these skills will aid our big roll, because you are going to do a big roll behind the screen, and as usual, I'll ask you, oh, you might get a +1 or even a +2 if you have an awesome aspect to your character or the world that really fits. So if you think you have some killer information or killer attribute, maybe that would steer you, but at most it'll just have a 5% effect. Mostly go for what just seems like an awesome thing to do. So one of the first steps, we've got the ideas there. Is there anything that somebody had come up with like that they want to, that a few people want to add something? Like I want to vote for something that's not on this list. Anybody got anything that they want to add to the list that's completely new that you think has already got a few sponsors that would win the vote? Okay. Yeah? Don't think so. Things we've got some excitement there. Also, is there any objection to this? Now, before I've been holding back objections, we say like, hey, honestly, my character wouldn't sign up for this. Or my character would only sign up for this if we don't do this or that tactic. Like, this is your time to sort of speak now or hold your peace. Like, I don't think this should be up for vote because my character wouldn't participate, or conditions under which your character would participate in for any of these. And also, if it's something, even if you don't think it's going to get votes, you might say, like, by the way, my character would never do this. You might eliminate something that won't get votes anyway, but it's just your way to be characteristic.
I don't think both of them might be
Anything that reduces danger, my character would be real interested in that.
Yeah.
Well, the one with Augur, we've kind of already hashed out the ground rules, I feel. So that's probably, that's
And
probably
getting all the strategy and the planning for the event from him
Mhm.
would prove to be useful and
Okay.
definitely good for heisting. And
Yep. And there's nothing in your character that would say like I don't want to do that or some aspect of anything on this board.
Just because I'm clear, because again, I feel like I'm losing bits and pieces.
That's fine.
The whole purpose of this is, I don't want to say to create a diversion or distraction, but it's basically to create some sort of chaos and unsettlement with the crowd, so then we
In
can
that
target
room.
what's happening on stage.
That's right, because this
Okay.
room is going to have, if you don't do anything, the reds are going to want to kill you, the silvers are going to want to kill you, Ziggy's going to kill you, and all the goblins that are afraid of Ziggy are going to want to kill you. That's a lot of people wanting to kill you. Each of these things is is designed to take out at least one or two of those factors, to mitigate them, have them not show up, have them fight each other, have them so crazy they can't fight, just to reduce the load of enemies somehow.
Okay.
Yeah, and the two that you investigated do that. Really, all of these have a way of mitigating the danger.
So we take the first option. What's happening to the goblins when the first one's going on?
If we take the first option, then
that's the nuclear
the,
option.
the goblins that Tiffany has just talked to aren't going to
Well,
be
isn't
going
that a
in
separate thing?
Yeah,
Yes,
That
we
would
can
be
only
a-
choose one out.
This
of
is
the-
sort of
Right.
like, so
if,
imagine
what's
Tiffany-
happening to the goblins here
Yeah.
if we unleash the chaos shards? Because
The-
the goblin option.
Just
Tiffany
assume,
would
yeah.
be
Assume
happy.
the goblins will be unaffected. So assume that there will be some goblins that will be attacking you in this, because the goblins will still be by default. And by default, some of the goblins will end up being your enemies. Imagine what happens with Tiffany. Each of these scenes, like talking to Orgu, talking to Tiffany, this is like your initial pitch where they say like, oh, sounds good, yeah, I'll do it. But sort of like those people that you invite to a party that say, I'm definitely going to show up to your party, and then they still don't. So your big role will make sure that they show up to the party. So the question is like, if you pick number one, what happens to the goblins number two? They give the stew, they consider it, but in the end, they end up chickening out and not helping, and then they're just enemies like anything else. Same thing with the silvers. Like, you've talked to Orgu's interested, but if you don't pick that and do your role based on it, Orgu, submits to the intimidation of Ziggy after all, and it just doesn't get pulled off, and the chaos remains exactly as it is.
Just want to say for the recording, those sounds that you're hearing outside are fireworks, not
Yes,
gunshots.
We're in Australia, this is not gunshot, these are fireworks.
It honestly
seeing the-
never crosses my mind
Yeah.
that would be anything other than fireworks.
Yes,
I don't
unfortunately.
know how the recording's going to go.
Yeah,
so-
unfortunately, I have that very.
We
thought.
live in the hood, Spring
Thanks-
Hill.
Thanks to my time in the USA, it's like, yeah, this still reminds me of gunfire.
Such a different,
Yeah.
Culture.
expectation, isn't it?
What are you going to pick? You're going to be voting. We'll be doing a blind vote. So it'll be a 1, 2, 3, hold out a finger kind of thing. What are people advocating? You can take your chips away here, so your character chips can go away and all that. I'll just basically put numbers next to ones that have any sponsors.
I'm
so-
gonna advocate for all of you.
Number 1 is Unleash the Chaos. Number 2 is the Goblin Uprising. Anything else that you think will get votes? I should put a number next to. Controlling the Fount via Giles.
I think
Implanting the reds with a glowing shard. Giving the silvers our
somehow
shards.
I think with number 2 we've combined number 2 and.
Oh, sorry about that.
it, Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So-
I was totally wrong. Yeah, number 2 basically. That's wrong.
Yeah, number 2 will actually incur the Goblin Uprising at that stage.
Yeah,
or-
yeah, exactly.
Or at least shows them.
Well,
it's-
what you're doing is you're convincing the goblins to dress like silvers.
Yeah.
So it really comes down to making sides appear unequal. The goblins maybe also won't fight you, but it's just one tribe, right? So
Yeah.
it's not like you're getting masses
It's
of
like
goblins.
5 or
to
6
fight you.
goblins out of
Yeah, it might be 5 or 6 goblins,
Yeah,
but
with
it does
us
involve
dress up
goblins
as
for sure.
kind of will increase the numbers.
Yeah, so there's kind of a dotted line there that the way you do number 2 is through that scene with
Yeah.
the goblins. Okay, anybody want to have a number next to anything besides the 1, 2? Everybody's intending to vote for 1 or 2?
I think
Okay.
they're the main ones. I mean, we can opt to have other things in there afterwards, but they're the main areas that we're looking at.
I think Matt's trying to decomplicate it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Keep
Okay.
it simple.
Yeah, sure.
Not too many numbers.
Okay. Anybody want to say, like, I really think everybody should vote for 1 or 2 because X? Anybody want to do any further advocacy than you've already done to
I
change someone's vote?
I think number 1.
I'd like to get up on
one
stage and go,
because
you want
we're
chaos?
we're
I'll
at,
be
we're at
your
the end of
chaos."
a campaign and want everything to blow up and go like
Yeah.
fireworks. For instance.
Surely we have to say something really corny. If we have to say something really corny, like you can't handle the truth, and
So-
then the chaos just hits them.
I think we can all agree. Number 1 is the Michael
You
Bay
get some
option.
chaos. You get some chaos. Yeah.
Option 2 is the
Seth Rogen.
Yes.
yes.
And both are awesome. Yeah,
I was
both-
going to say Willy Wonka, but
the Pineapple Express option.
Let's Oprah the chaos.
Okay, so on 3, you'll hold out either 1 or 2 fingers. Everybody close your eyes. 1, 2, 3. Hold. Don't open your eyes. Everybody's voted. Okay, open your eyes. All right.
I thought I would be the only one.
Okay, the ones take it. All right, great. Number 1.
Sorry, man, but
Unleash the chaos.
Look, it's fun, but I just feel 1 is like a natural conclusion to this whole
Yeah.
entire
Yeah,
epic we've been
yeah, no, I'm
on.
excited. And
just
as
funny.
always, every group, every year, every 2 groups are to come up with very different things to do. This is the first time that somebody's done this particular tactic, so I can't wait to
Just
play
for a
it.
meta reason, like what did Tuesday choose to do?
I'd rather have them tell it, right? I always love people to tell
Oh,
the
fact,
story.
yeah, no, that's
But I already gave a hint before. It involved Ziggy not coming on stage to begin with.
Oh,
And,
cool.
and
So
a
it
bit
does
of
have
a bit of a masquerade
What
going
did they
on.
tell you sort of what they were thinking on?
yeah, Panther and High Heels.
We got a few ideas.
Yes, exactly. You got the idea at the pub that it was going to be convince slash seduce slash
We bounced ideas off.
yeah, convince Ziggy to not go on stage at all.
That's great.
By basically a lot like this one that you're considering, like break Ziggy via psychology, but this is more softer, like
Sleep with
get
him to
Ziggy,
death.
get Ziggy to choose a better path than what he was doing before. Okay, so next step is visualizing the moment of truth. Now this is where I'll erase some of these things here. I don't have anything else to take. I'll take a picture just in case I missed something.
Sorry, I thought of that movie, The Gentleman, where the guy. Has anyone seen The Gentleman? Where the
I
guy
still
wakes
haven't.
up in a van and he's like, "You've had a wild night. The drugs we gave you really loosen your inhibitions." And he opens the door up and there's a pig in front of him.
Oh, yeah.
And it's just like, and I just imagine like talking to Ziggy, like, "You had a rough night," and then he
I
wakes
was-
up and there's a cat in there.
I was about to
You
say,
decided to-
can we
that
change
2 weeks
that?
ago,
No.
Old MacDonald had a farm.
You can't
That
copy
found
someone
me
else
bad,
that's
Ziggy.
not nearly as cool as doing it.
Yeah, I really encourage the 2 sides to do something completely different, if nothing else because
This is a fucking cool thing to do.
this is a cool thing to do.
Matt said no one else has done that
No
before.
one's ever done it
Yeah,
before.
yeah.
No one's just trying to.
And the 2 worlds merge together. So I merge it. The reality of what happened in both worlds sort of has a weird combination effect. So in a way, we might end up with an
In the
episode where
chaos.
both things have happened.
Maybe in the chaos.
In the
Vol has-
chaos,
Vol has
exactly.
slept with Ziggy. There you go. Making your sick fantasies.
Now, one way to visualize what happens is when the moment of truth happens, you have a very nice sharp moment of truth. The chaos suddenly gets unleashed. And where would you want to be on the stage? Yeah, feel free. Where would you want to be in this room to do so? If you're anywhere besides back here, or if the whole group is anywhere besides here, one of you has to take on the job of positioning yourself. Think of each of you has a job. One of you is the lead roller. One of you is the one that I'd say Orgu is probably the linchpin, but we can change that. Would be the one that's going to be best to persuade Orgu, intimidate / Orgu. The same kind of
And also protect
whoever
Orgu.
did that last scene. Yeah, I think
Yeah.
we redo that role, but you won't see the result.
You
So we'll
can
revisit
offer
that.
healing services and say, right, I'll heal you if you get hurt.
So we have a lead.
I've got a couple of spells that could work. Yeah.
Okay, so we have a lead that's going into that, but each of you has a separate job that is a different piece of making
Go
that
as
happen.
Olga's assistant.
And if you roll well on your piece, it contributes. Everybody has to do a piece. If you roll badly on your piece, your piece is the thing that goes wrong, which is fun. So where would you like to be? Are you okay with being at the back of the stage, or do one of you say, like, I have an idea about how to position ourselves somewhere besides the back of the room?
Yeah.
And also,
I thought you would be in this corner, really, right?
Yeah, that makes actual sense.
Be anywhere in these back 3 rows, right? So feel free to put
Well,
yourself.
yeah, exactly.
That's where they're going to enter and exit.
No, that's
Yeah,
where
so
we're all
he
coming in.
just walks in
Yeah.
and just goes around the corner.
Yeah, you think when the moment of truth happens, which means that everybody's in the room and the door is closed and barred.
We need
It's
to try and
like
get somewhere
opposite
that we can actually not get caught up in whatever's
Well,
going on. Right?
This is a thoroughfare to get to the stage. This is where they head up to
Mhm.
go to the stage. So
Yeah, you think this room's gonna be full of people.
Yeah.
So imagine that, that anything north of you here is gonna be just thick with people. So that's something to consider.
Have we?
As in, like, there'd be one person per square.
Pretty much, yeah, or at least a mix of empty spaces and difficult terrain, if not impassable terrain. Imagine a packed concert hall. It's difficult to quickly in 6 seconds move 30 feet through a packed
thickest
concert
stuff
hall.
will be right in the centre.
Have we taken out the
I'm
option
already small.
of? Yeah. Have we taken out the option for to use the confusion potion at the same time?
No, so the confusion potion is something that with an action, just like casting a spell, imagine it's like a spell scroll that casts confusion, you throw it, You're guaranteed to accurately hit an area. Everybody in that area takes a saving throw. If they don't make a saving throw, they'll be confused for 1 round. So it's just a tactic. You want to decide who holds on to that, just like who has all of your equipment. So that's part of your tactic.
Did you say it would be guaranteed to hit, so you wouldn't have to roll for
That's
a
right.
check?
Yeah.
It's a
So
guess.
throwing it is not the hard part.
No, but it's in a bottle. You don't throw it.
Yeah, normally you would, yeah. So sometimes a DM would do that.
hard.
It'd be like a ranged attack, but I don't want to have that plus a saving throw. So I'm just saying, no, you'll be able to accurately throw it. Don't worry
Okay.
about that because
I
it's supposed to just
volunteer as
shatter on the
tribute.
ground and fill the area.
Or
with
hit someone in the
fumes.
noggin.
Because I was just
Yeah.
going to ask, would
Well, it creates like fumes, right? So it's all the bandages and stuff in your healing kit are sort of like it evaporates the drug really quickly, and it's like an aerosol effect.
because would throwing be an athletics?
Normally it would be like a dexterity.
Dex.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's not
it'd be like dexterity plus your proficiency bonus.
Yeah, but are we going to fail to throw it on the floor?
No, that's what I was just saying. Yeah, so you're going to be able to guarantee to hit whatever point you like because you already have to having to roll dice for saving.
The
throws.
most
That
dexterous
already makes
person
sense.
I
in the
volunteer
corner.
to suicide confuse people. That'd be
Yeah,
pretty awesome.
I guess what I'd say is be like a javelin that the farthest you can throw is 30 feet. Otherwise, you'll have to so assuming that you're throwing it 30 feet or less.
What
That's
about,
like a javelin.
hey, what about not even also, what about putting it on somebody and as they walk, it dissipates up and creates like a trail?
You could. It's just that so there's one based on the spell. It's a nice 10-foot radius. That's
Yeah.
where everybody gets the saving throw. If somehow you wanted to affect everybody in the room, they'd all have like a much higher DC. That's a lot of dice. So I think I do have to restrict this cloud to a 10-foot radius.
And did you say not us,
It'll affect everybody.
but time little, short, not long?
Yes,
like
for 1
level
round.
4?
Yeah. So whoever's at the instant that it shatters, everybody in that area takes a saving throw, including friendly creatures.
So if we put it through an aerosol, it'd be even more dispersed and have an even lesser effect, wouldn't it?
Assume that's like it's a
That's
bit of
very
a quick, a small area aerosol. So just for what you can imagine that it's like a mist that fills that 10-foot radius.
That's what I'm
and
saying, like
settles
a
to the
fart
ground.
bomb, and everyone in that area just.
we can probably try and see what the effect of the thing is on people, and then determine where
Do we know
apply
what-
it.
Yeah, the effect of the chaos energy.
Correct,
Yeah,
and then we
exactly.
can determine. Like,
Yeah,
if
but you
there-
do want to
if
commit
there's-
to who's holding
If there's
that
people who
potion.
are less affected, for instance, then you could just go. All right,
That's
we're
where
going
the
to target those
confusion
particular
goes.
people. We only need to commit to somebody having it.
Right on.
Right?
Also speaking to Augur and saying, like, is there any way to funnel or widen the chaos thing?
I think it would just.
Yeah, so you
rush.
think that what that dish is doing, it is putting it in a line, but once you take that thing off, it just radiates in all directions like any other radiation.
Well, what are the things that we need to?
Yeah, he won't be able to
overcome?
point it accurately enough to have it affect.
So we need to make sure that the kobolds let him in.
Yeah.
We need to make sure that Ziggy doesn't catch on to the fact that he's using his bot.
Yep.
What else?
We
So-
need to make sure that Augur looks like he has taken Chaos Shard.
Yep.
Yep, so,
Yeah.
That's one of you guys.
yeah. Well, that's why you need to be
Hopefully.
near
And
Augur
charcoal
to
from
keep that up.
to make the
Yeah.
burns around it.
That's what
Yeah.
I was thinking. That's why I started backing,
Yeah, I think glowing eyes is pretty good, like because he
Yeah.
already has pretty good
That's
makeup. But
the
Ziggy says, like, I know what makeup
Yeah.
looks like. So yeah, his eyes have. He says, your eyes better be fucking
Or we
glowing.
can
He's
get
gotta play the
mean,
scene.
and I can create bonfire, and we could burn a
We're
bit
not burning Augur.
just to make it look real.
It's a small fire. It
But
could
that's
be
what I'm
pyrotechnics.
thinking. We could make, I don't know, burn one of our things that we have and actually
there's gonna
create
be other
char
things, right?
Yeah.
rather than
What are these
burning
other
his
things?
skin, rather than being makeup because that has a different sheen to it because of the mica powders. But actually, like charring wood or something like.
We
we've
burn
got- we've
him,
got-
and then you heal him.
We're not
Then
burning.
it would heal the burn.
Yeah, but
we're not
afterwards, fine.
We're not burning.
This is just a list of possible jobs. Some jobs will go undone. Just whatever you pick. This is your contribution. So you'll pick something from this list.
Do we each individually need a separate job?
Yeah, you each do a separate job. Just to give maximum possibilities for
So how
things
many-
getting
how many
fucked
do we
up.
have?
So we have 4, but I think there's a number of things that need to happen. I haven't
Um,
listed them all yet. What are other things that need to happen to make this effective? I've written some things down.
You'll need to be protecting Augur when close by to make sure everything's working.
Yeah.
And
Stop
I
him
actually
damaging
think
himself.
these two,
yeah.
because you can get the mirror shards.
Yeah, I
You can
can.
protect,
Yeah.
you can heal. Yeah,
Ah,
so-
signal, yeah. So
Yeah.
signal.
So the signal-
Yeah, the signal.
Oh,
So.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
right. Yeah.
Yeah.
And you were the thaumaturgy on that.
Yeah.
Mm.
Like I said,
trust you.
one of these will be a lead, so there'll be 4 jobs. So one of them, is the main lead is just to convince Orgu to keep his nerve. So this is intimidate.
Yeah, I think that'll be me.
Or use your
'cause I've already
intimidation
got
knowledge.
that
Yeah, makes
connection
sense,
to
yeah.
him.
Yeah. So you're out because your job is going to be the big role is going to be the using your knowledge of intimidation to get Orgu to stay firm against Ziggy.
Yeah.
The remaining 4 of you will pick any of these 4 jobs. And I'm putting things down here as you name
Well,
them.
who would have the
Not
best
all
affinity?
jobs
We're
have
going
to get
down the
done
list. Who would have the
necessarily.
best affinity with the kobolds? Who
Yeah.
probably.
One way to think about it, sorry, is if you don't do a job, then Orgu will just do that job pretty
Who's
as
trained
well
with
as
them
he
the
can.
most?
Yeah.
This might be already getting too deep into tactics, but I'm looking at my spells and stuff. So thaumaturgy, I've already thought that, but I've also got enhance ability prepared. So could I possibly cast that on Orgu, and it gives one effect, but it's a sort of advantage on various checks. So could I not have that sort of one of those prepped on Orgu and have him feel that sort of enhanced ability to then resist the intimidation
Oh,
of
interesting.
Ziggy?
Yeah. What I would do is.
I know that's probably getting way too deep.
No,
into
that's a
things,
great idea,
so-
and I love to incorporate. So we're doing sort of the loose interpretation of your spells and skills. So you would just mention that when you do a roll, say, I think the reason I should get a +1 or +2 in this roll is because I'm using a little sort of micro version of that spell. So you don't have to give up the spell slot. I want you to have your spell slots for this battle as much as possible. I really advise that. So you won't be able to get advantage on of your big rolls by sacrificing stuff. That's not going to be a thing as it usually is. But definitely mention that. I think it's a great reason for you to get a +2 instead of a +1 when you do it. You'll pick one thing that sort of juices up your roll, and that might be the thing. So that's a great idea if you want to use it.
Can I just ask?
Yeah.
Because I'm reading upside down here. What are these 2?
Orgu looks like he's got glowing shard eyes. Orgu won't himself freak out and won't trigger his addiction because he'll be suffused with this chaos energy, which may make him do regrettable things.
Well, if Alenka is
in the 5 minutes that he can do this.
Unprotected. Okay.
Aggressive medicine healing.
Oh,
Tackle
I
him
was
to the
gonna
ground.
say, I was actually going to say, can we combine that one, and that one into handling Orgu?
Yeah, being Orgu's handler or.
So
You don't have to really, because I like each of you to specialize on one thing because there are different things that can go right or wrong. So it's fine. Don't worry about things on this list not getting done. I'm not going to say, aha, you didn't do that, so that's the thing that goes wrong. The only things that can go wrong are the things that you decide are important enough to work on. So don't worry too much about combining them. It'll be more fun if you pick separate jobs.
Solid.
You can do it with your main character or your alt character. We can write the story either way, but like for example, Smaragd could give Orgu, a really great talking to here, before he's out there. So Smaragd doesn't have to be with him as he uncouples the shard, because Smaragd has to be inside the room. Your role is just, do you fire him up enough that he decides to go ahead with it?
Okay.
Give him the pep
Now,
talk.
keep in mind, his bot is going to be next to the
Tiffany
shard,
again.
but Orgu, no matter where he
Lies.
is going to be freaked out, because no matter where Orgu is, he's going to be freaked out.
let's put Orgu next to Tiffany and see what happens.
I don't think that's wise.
I don't think it would be wise either. But
So with the last one signaling Orgu, so if we're
That's
Using the
two
shards?
mirrors.
yeah. So there's
Yeah.
2.
yeah.
So
Yeah,
if
I've got a.
you would use that, then how do you communicate to the others?
Sorry, say that again.
How will you communicate to the others? Because you'll be somewhere else, away from the others.
Well, each of you have one character in the room itself. That's for sure for the battle. But yeah, you can have. I think what I take your thing is that
I've got
your
a-
job is to
I've-
pair the mirror shards in
yeah.
a way that you can sort of.
I know how to do it.
So
It's
if
like
I'm
walkie-talkie,
there,
right?
Yeah,
You're gonna
Yeah,
have
it's like a
walkie-talkie.
walkie-talkie
Answers
Zoom
us.
call.
yeah.
But you
The,
two
the
can
trick is how to
communicate.
make it work. I have
Yes.
to I have to stab myself or cut someone else with it. Like
Yeah. So your role of contribution is how well do you get the shard, to get the mirror fragments
yeah.
to do that.
How much from my hit points go down? That's cool.
I wouldn't worry about that. So it's mostly it's finding things that don't involve losing hit points, as you probably get as
Okay.
many hit points as you can. in the fight. Okay. Great. So this was just you can think of something that's not on the list, but here are some ideas of things that you can do to contribute. And let's move on to the big roll, the pointy end.
2 what?
Mirror shards.
I've got a fragment and a whole mirror.
Okay.
All right.
Did someone work out how we were going to disguise the bot? The bot.
Yeah, we'll get to that in a moment.
We've got
So
one.
let me set the frame, and then you can get back to picking one of these things.
And it can't move. It
Make
has
it
to
a
be.
box.
Here we go. So the moment of truth when you activate the asset. So you're going to fire yourself up for that big moment. What you visualize, the moment that you visualize it is if your plan and your rolls go really well, this is how it's going to happen. So where will you be in the room at the moment that the silvers freak out? That's what we want to do. You want the silvers to be knocked out of the fight by this wave of chaos energy. You yourselves, so PCs deal with chaos energy as well, because everybody's going to feel the chaos energy, and you all are susceptible to that as well. So one of you can choose that to be your job. Again, don't worry about not choosing it, but if you might say this is your big contribution. At that moment happens, you feel that queasy, confused feeling, just like everybody in the room does. But ideally, the silvers get it really badly, and they're effectively out of the fight. Ideally, they start fighting the reds or fighting each other. But in any case, they're completely out of it, which means that your fight is reduced. At that moment, where would you want to be in the room if this works? So just place your chips on the room to help you visualize where you want to be.
I assume there's a division between the silvers and the reds. So it'd be like
You can, yeah,
well,
you've always seen that the people who are reds and silvers tend to stay away from each other, but of course Ziggy also is forcing them to be close to each other up on stage. So you're not guaranteed that there'll be two halves unless it's essential to your thing. And as usual, remember to think that the room is going to be full of people.
Across there.
So being separate from each other in combat is already a bit dodgy.
Remember the stage
Being
is
separated by impassable
fine.
terrain is very dodgy.
like
Okay.
5 minutes long.
I'm going to try to be your coach.
Yeah.
I really recommend people stay fairly close to each other. You don't want to be clumped together where one fireball can get you, or shatter spell, or whatever he's going to do to you.
Hey,
But
Smarag, where are you?
I wouldn't be too far away from each other. if I were you.
Awesome.
Yeah, we can move my fella over there as well. Sort of in the general vicinity, maybe a square or two away.
Okay, so somebody has to have the job of how are you going to get into an advanced position without being detected, right? So in order to pull this off, it means that somebody here has the job of making sure that you can get this close to the stage without being discovered
Can
by
I
the
fog
heroes. that
cloud and just like create like mood lighting for like, you know how like
Could be fun,
a
sure.
smoke
Yeah,
machines?
again, we're lightly interpreting this, so yeah, that could be your job is to.
I would like to go up in a piece of equipment, like in a speaker box or something.
Yeah, I'm dressed in black. You just pick it up.
Yeah.
It's a roadie.
Smoke cloud.
Okay, so if nobody takes this, then you're all in the back row. But if somebody takes this, then you're going to be in those ideal positions. Okay.
Okay.
Now,
Can't do it.
that's the moment of truth. Fighting breaks out with the silvers out of it. If I'm just going to make you as nervous as possible, so if your die rolls don't go well, or you're not adding a lot to your rolls, then which means they don't go well, means that even if if you fail at all of your rolls, the contributors don't do well, and the lead roller doesn't do well, it means that something's going to go terribly wrong. The fight is not going to be reduced in power, and you can fight super, super well and still easily lose this battle if your rolls go terribly. If your rolls go fantastically, it means that you still have to fight well, but you have a very good chance of victory, maybe even higher degrees of victory, like more than average victory, if you fight super well. Chances are you're going to be somewhere between those two extremes, and I'm going to be writing the scenario based on what your rolls turn out to be. And so you won't know the results of your roll. You're going to drop the die behind the screen here, so I see it and write it down, but you won't know it until the moment of truth when I reveal each of your contributions to this. I won't be cheating the dice to make you win, so I'm going to be playing it purely mechanically. The number of enemies is going to be affected by this. So this could end the season. The story's going to be great. That's all I can guarantee. But the great story may involve your death, your capture, something else, some horrible sacrifices being made as you go. So I think we've got a good vision of how this is going to happen. Now, and all of your contributions are equally helpful. So again, pick a way to contribute that feels cool. Use this good skill. You're going to be picking a skill that you're good at. I do recommend that. But don't worry, if it's something really awesome, don't worry if you're picking a skill that's not your absolute best. Cinematics matter for something. And you already debated that. You've picked one edge. All right. Lead roller. The number that your personal roll is going to have to hit to start to succeed, to have like at least a medium success and not have the plan really fall apart, is 24. However, everybody here can contribute from 1 to 5 each. So based on each of your rolls, each of you will contribute somewhere between 1 and 5 points to that roll. So 24 becomes very achievable if you all do well with your contributions. When you're doing your contribution roll, all the 4 of you have to get a 15 to contribute 3 points. If you get way over 15, you'll contribute 5 points. If you get under 15, you'll contribute only 1 point. So again, that's going to be the story of your contribution. So your DC is 15 to be medium effective on helping out this roll. Yes?
Can I use one of my divination points to affect your roll?
I'm afraid not with this. Like this, yeah.
That's what I'll say with the 4/4.
Yeah, no. Things like
Later.
hopefully, I'm sure you'll find it useful during battle. All these things, because we're being fast and loose, I also can play fast and loose. That everything you're doing is actually multiple actions. All these things affect one roll, one action that happens in 1 second. So things like bardic inspiration or bless or others, all that cool stuff you have to tweak die rolls. None of that applies here, just because we're trying to get to the heart of the drama. So. Each of you should be thinking of a skill and a job. Lead, you know what your job is. That's the intimidation of Orgu, if you want to stick with intimidation or some other skill, but I assume that. The rest of you are taking one of those jobs on the board.
Intimidation/survival, like
Sure.
being on the outside so we can survive, and you will survive this.
Good. Yeah, exactly. You might pick one thing over the other because it's cool. You might pick one thing over the other because you have an idea of a world fact that you can mention that gives you that extra plus.
Before we begin, can I throw this, whatever this magical crossbow bolt is, over to Samarag for just in case
Sure,
she
yeah,
hits the fan? Don't know what it does.
Yeah.
You're the only person that can shoot it.
Nice. Okay.
You have
Are
crossbow.
you sure it's a cross?
It's a crossbow bolt.
Yes, the
Yeah.
mage
Crossbow
sword,
bolt.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because you guys have just what normal
Javelin.
bows.
He's got my last javelin.
Javelin,
I've
yeah.
got Eldritch Blast. So
So neither. So I'm the only one with a bow.
I've got this ammunition called
And you've
the
got
Power of the
you've got the
Fiends.
elevator.
Also,
I've got
um,
You've got the
Who wants to
elevator
hold a
position
rod
up
that
here if you're
can
gonna
maybe
move.
like bar things? Because I'm in the back and I'm
With
not
a
gonna
movable
use-
rod, you can
Yeah.
Who
borrow
wants
and
to
hand things
borrow
around.
this while it's? Do you want
Use a
Yeah, 'cause I've got
paperclip
a
to
plan for
attach
that.
it to
Go for
your
it.
sheet. There are paper clips on the character folder that was on the table. That
Yes.
was-
And I've got
So
a-
feel free to steal a paper clip
I've got a
to
written
make sure
version,
those
yeah.
stick to your character. And we'll have a little bit of time, assuming this big roll goes about as quick as I expect, we'll have a little bit of time to do more equipment stuff, but feel free to do that.
Can someone just remind me what this one is?
Kobold.
Making sure the kobolds get let in to begin with...
No, that Orgu
Oh,
can be led in to where the kobolds
yes, that's
are.
right.
Yeah,
Yes.
Okay.
Kobolds let
yeah.
Orgu, or don't stop the Orgu bot from doing his
I'm
normal
trying to
service.
figure out what I can do in this
Yeah.
one.
Well, I don't know. I don't mind taking this.
You could
Yeah,
steal
that's
deals some
position.
shit to make sure that they're all nice and
Who's got a lot of money that could?
Yeah, don't worry about
Course,
sacrifices and
go
items so much as
noble.
skills. It all comes down to a skill you're going to use to
Bribery is a skill.
And you contributors are
Corruption
first.
is
You can go in any order because it doesn't have to be time ordered. Just anybody who has an idea of how you're going to contribute to the main idea. And this is the time to are you going to commit to survival or intimidation because this might affect how they support you.
Well, if I was thinking of this last one, then
Sorry, just for a second. I just
We're
wanted
still on this one.
Yeah, Shmaragd. So which skill are you going to use to keep Orgu online? Because this might affect how people contribute.
Let's stick with intimidation.
Okay. Use your knowledge of intimidation.
raw.
But in like a
Yeah,
positive,
the positive, exactly. Yeah, just like you
positive
did
way.
before.
You want to survive this.
Yeah, intimidation knowledge.
positive intimidation.
Yeah.
We want you.
Yeah, this is you have been intimidated into this terrible position, and it's time for you to resist that intimidation and act like the hero you are. I love
Yeah.
that.
I think
Right.
that's what I think.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
trying
Your
to get
knowledge of
Shmarag to
intimidation,
be is
yeah.
to be
Your charisma and your knowledge of intimidation.
is the that's
Cool. Awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so who has got an idea of how to pull off this plan?
I'm going to do the eyes.
All right. We will start with a Fogrim.
And I'm going to steal your charcoal.
Go for it, man.
And then I'm going to use my
Are you
thaumaturgy.
burning it? Like, just like...
Oh, it's just
We're
Little
not
sacrifice.
burning.
Keep on.
No, you idiot.
Burning the charcoal.
I'm like saying, you sacrifice it for an advantage. If you want to do it, it's fine with me.
I think you said we're not sacrificing things.
Yeah, you don't. There's no way to get advantage on this because.
All right.
We can turn it into.
But feel free to mention things.
We
you
can,
just
we
don't
can
have to
add
give
it
them.
add it onto the existing makeup and then use the thaumaturgy to make his eyes sparkle
That's fine.
or glow or whatever it is that we need them to do.
Grab out my greasy
Cler-
pockets.
To
clerics
make it
would
more,
quite-
make it more convincing.
clerics would be
You are a cleric, so I'll assume that it's your spell attack bonus, basically. So,
Yeah, sure.
and you would have to do a bit of makeup if you're doing cleric stuff.
Which is fine, I guess.
If you're preaching to
Sure,
someone.
yeah,
so,
that'd be a skill plus of 5.
Do you have
That's
to
a
do
nice
makeup if you?
Well, you'll be preaching, and you know you
You
want
know,
to look
preachers
good.
use makeup.
And then
the ones on the camera.
Yeah, the
It's
televangelist.
a-
Yeah.
Oh, don't worry about it. So I'm reinterpreting. So
sure.
we'll use your spell attack to just how good are you at casting spells?
Yep.
Like, does it
That's
stick
fine.
for a long time?
Gotcha.
Does it glow the right way?
Yep.
We'll just use your spell attack bonus to demonstrate that, because it just basically uses your
Okay.
wisdom and your proficiency. So, Fogrum, you have got us. You're using your magical power, thaumaturgy, plus some charcoal and some other effects, perhaps, to make Orgu's eyes glow, so
Yep.
that when Ziggy examines them later on, Ziggy does not throw a wrench in your works by doing something terrible to Orgu for not consuming the shard. Yeah. Now, are there? You get a +1 or +2 with one weird trick. If like the charcoal is your weird trick.
And, sorry,
that makes it better.
and, pardon me,
Yeah.
I got some gems that I said were extremely convincing looking
Yes.
used cow shards.
You do.
So Organ can have one of those.
Right. Okay. Good. So also
And
let's do that. Everybody picks just one weird trick, and it can give you 1 or 2 points. That's a fantastic idea. So you're going to
That's
loan him your used up cash with.
Because I think I had two of those. He can have one or both. I don't really care.
I think that's what you chose to take from the loot in
It was.
Orgu's room.
It was, yeah.
Yeah. So
And
yeah.
that's like the chaos shard that he used to make his eyes go all.
Right. Okay. Right. So you
Yeah.
got fake chaos shard that you can use here. It's good because Orgu can stay close to without
I
being
was going to say,
triggered.
we
I
can
think that's
extend
great.
thaumaturgy so that's glowing and his eyes are glowing.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
chaos shard would not be glowing because he's used it to make his eyes glow.
Okay.
Because he uses it.
I've totally then misunderstood how his chaos shards work.
I'm pretty sure that's how it worked anyway. He uses it up.
Okay. So yeah, give him some fake chaos shards to somehow pull this off.
Does
Loan.
someone not have like a fake visor or like one of the used
Well, it's
up
a
visors?
it's a
as
fake
well?
like used up one. If
Okay.
that's- Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We
But I was thinking for the look, could we not also have him like carrying around this visor? I swear someone had a
Someone
silver
did.
visor.
someone did. They're not here.
Ah.
Okay.
Can we just? They're
I think
supposedly
Anthony
around,
had it.
aren't they? So
Yeah,
can't
can
we
we
just
just
like
take
take it out of
those?
their pocket?
Yeah, the die roll again will sort of dictate if it's a good die roll. All these little details go your way. If there's a bad die roll, you have bad luck.
Doesn't
and these things
matter
Don't go
anyway.
your way. It doesn't matter too much.
Doesn't
anyway.
matter.
You got a
It
+2
was the
because of that.
best
You got a
anyway,
+5, so you got a
I mean,
+7 on this
the
roll.
visors.
Now the fun part is you come over here, walk around on the side here, drop a
special.
d20, drop your luckiest d20.
This one is the one that I got a 20 with last time.
That's right.
That's the
So,
best one.
And then
don't
you
look
find
down
out
here,
they're
so
touched.
you'll make sure you drop it where you can't see it. Great. Thank you very much. I'm going to record it. Hang on.
That's right. Don't waste your life.
Don't
like
do
that.
that.
No, as much as I like the green one, the purple one's works
I'm going to
better.
hand that to you. I
Thank
learned
you.
not to roll the die as I give it to someone because whatever I roll, people say they use that as superstitious. Like, oh, it must have been a good roll because that's a bad one or what.
That's
I'm
all
going to
right.
hand
I
you
didn't
your
look
die
at it.
back. Okay, that
gonna be
was
fun either
Farmer's
way.
roll.
Give it to those ninja
Who else
ladies.
has got a way to contribute to this plan?
Okay, I'm trying to
Oh,
read.
Sean.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sean, you
Yeah.
can maneuver people.
Yeah. Well, I've got a manoeuvring attack as one of the. I can maneuver into position. So using that along with
Oh, so you're the advanced position
Yeah.
thing. Good, interesting. Yeah, sure.
along with using
So it'd be like a last minute shift. Yeah, yeah.
and,
Okay.
and combine that with my athletics.
Okay,
as
yes.
well. So
Yeah, I'd say athletics. Is your athletics bonus as good as your weapon attack bonus, your basic sword attack bonus? Yeah, I'd say
it's
athletics
five.
is good.
Yeah.
Yeah, +5. Great. Yeah. Okay, so athletics is much more colorful. Athletics.
And also
and
rally.
Maneuver
as part
attack knowledge.
of- Yeah.
And again, you don't have to spend the die to actually do this. Let's just say this is kind of part of the interpretation.
And the knowledge.
You're at a +5 on athletics. You have the knowledge of how to do it. Got a +5 on that. That's a really cool idea. So, is there anything else about the world that you know about yourself or the world that might make this a especially effective move? About the situation, the crowd, the room. You know how. people
I guess
move,
just
how your
talking
friends
with
move.
Orgu and having it all confined here and having that sort of visual plan of where things are going to be.
You're a
What was
battle
your
master.
background?
Oh, the human noble. So yeah, probably disorganized. Well, I guess from that point of view, knowing protocols and procedures, the way that people operate, and levels of society, and
Aren't you a battle master? I mean, you should
yeah.
have some advanced
Well, that's-
understanding
that's the
of tactics.
manoeuvring.
Because that's what I was
Yeah,
thinking. If you were a
that's-
soldier, I was going to suggest that you
Yeah.
have
And strategy and
Cool.
formation.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
So,
think the best thing I've heard is a combination of what each of you says, like because you're a battle master and you're talking to Orgu about, okay, exactly when do people come in? So you have access to Orgu. You
For
might as well
timing,
use it.
yeah.
Yeah, what's the
Yeah.
timing? Like, are they small people or are they big people? Are the reds and silvers in different locations? So you really understand by talking to them. So I'm going to give you a +2 on your
When did the
roll.
canapes come out?
You have a 2 because battle master talk with Orgu to know sort of the density and flow of the crowd.
Working the crowds as a noble and
Yeah.
There-
No, I'd say
Choosing
yeah,
and
yeah, it's fine, it's
charming.
fine.
Get,
Yeah.
get your royal
To
wave
give them
sort of
to
matches.
There is the
position
feat in there.
as
You don't want
photoed.
to use
I'm
fingers.
going to take.
If you have.
So
looked, you
this
can
is the
back
last
on
chance to
Oh, yeah,
change your
yeah.
chip because this
Yeah.
is basically so as he's talking to
You
Orgu.
should not be there.
Well, I was thinking.
But he said we should all be
We should be
close-ish
closer. It's
together.
uncertain
Just
terrain.
as a coach, when in doubt, be
You go
reasonably
down,
close to
you'll
each other because
stop.
for all you
Close.
know, there's going to be a lot of density
All right,
between
I'm
you
going
and the others.
From behind there,
Sure.
over that side.
Okay, so I'm just going to commit there. That's the plan that you make with Orgu about how to work the flow of your battle master crowd, and how well you roll will be based on whether you end up there or end up somewhere else. So you've got a +7 on this roll total. You're 5 because of your skills, 2 because you've come up with this wonderful plan talking to Orgu. Drop this die back here where I can see it and you can't.
Please, He-Man.
That's right. Putting a He-Man is still a fine way to go.
What was He-Man's sister, She-Ra?
no, was it?
Yeah, I think it was.
Does she have issues?
Yeah.
I thought She-Ra was someone.
There you
No,
go.
no,
I
it's
thought
the same-
She-Ra
it's the
was
same
the
world.
cousin, not the
It was,
sister.
it was a 20.
I just
Ah!
I watched Voltron anyway.
Was that, was that?
Okay, who's our third contributor to this plan?
Signals.
Okay, great. So this is Sardath, and this is to cue
We'll see
the
Oliver.
perfect timing.
You just need to grow a glorious moustache like that.
Yeah.
I'll try.
And then you can be part of the squad.
Come see you in November.
That's
using the red mirror fragments. As
Let's do it
I'll
everyone
just be
else.
that guy after November.
I'll do it if everyone else does it.
Yeah, so the key here is not just saying the word at the right time. That's the easy part. The hard part is like in this distant, chaotic environment, will the mirrors still stay, or will something interfere? So yeah, what's the skill that you use to assure that these two mirrors are properly sacrificed or properly working when you set them?
I'm gonna like take these mirrors out,
Yeah.
and I'm just gonna grip them so hard that it starts to bleed into my hands.
Ooh, all right.
And then I'm gonna go, you know who I serve, you know who I'm in dealing with. You don't fuck with me on this or else you'll come to regret it.
Okay, that's great.
Totally out of character.
I love that you're intimidating the mirrors.
Well,
Don't
that's why you
fuck
can
me.
do it. He's not
That's
actually talking
awesome.
to anyone at that stage.
Are you willing to have scars on your hands? I'm
Yeah,
assuming
yeah,
yes, yeah.
using those things
Stigmata.
kills the scars. Let's get scars up here and scars
Why
on my
not?
hands.
Of course you're willing to have scars on your
I
hands
can just
because
see
of
it
this.
now.
What skill is that? What skill is at the base of this role as you're trying to convince them to attune properly?
Stuff it. I'm going for intimidation. I've got a -1 in it, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Shit.
See, yeah. So as sorry, it's like, sorry, it's like I'm really intimidating. I was going to intimidate these things. Like, sorry, yes, mate.
You're the most cowardly kind of lion we have ever seen.
So your teammates are trying to
30
convince you to use
weeks.
a better skill on this.
Please.
Okay,
don't do that.
okay.
Arcana.
I can use religion. It's +5.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Yeah, because you're talking about the devil, right?
Yeah,
worship
you-
chaos,
that
right?
is your worship. Who you worship is the
No, I
devil.
don't.
No, he converted.
All right.
I just
Hang on.
deal with them.
Don't roll quite yet, and besides, you're not going to roll there. You're going to roll
Banking
over here
transaction.
to attune the mirrors with sacrifice.
And you convert to hemonism. Thank you very much.
Yeah, I'm with He-Man.
You just have a sign.
I just
So
side
yeah, the
business.
bold moves that that requires like major unwilling blood, but you're like willing your things, and so you're just using you're trying to kind of you're trying to overcome the religious rules here. This is why religion is very appropriate. Your skill plus religion is 5, you said?
Yep.
Okay, so I'm giving you 2, because I love that image. Just the way you acted it out, just that. So you still use intimidation in your words, but the skill is religion. You're channeling, everything you know about devils, into trying to talk to these
Oh,
mirrors.
by the
to get
way,
them to
I'm
attune
speaking
properly.
infernal while I'm staying this
Oh,
church.
yes, of course. That totally justifies the +2. That's great. Clutching them, talking in infernal.
Dark, harsh language.
So all of you are like,
we all
oh,
just
sorry,
sounds
that's
like
kind
us
of
talking in
intimidating.
German death metal.
Okay, Oliver, come on over here and drop the die behind this. Yep, great.
Please be good.
That sounded like it, what?
Yeah, I don't know.
I believe.
Yeah.
My
Now here's
my
the
rolls are
best hard
sometimes
part.
off.
Risk it to get the biscuit, as they say.
Now here's
Gotta
the
be
hard
in
part.
it to win it.
I've got to figure out
Okay,
what to do.
there's your die back.
Like and subscribe.
Before yours comes up.
Okay, who is the fourth contributor that hasn't gone yet?
I
You.
am, and I'm trying to figure out
Go,
what
Vol,
to do.
go.
Vol or another character, of course, was your job.
What is my job? Just to get hit,
Can
pretty
you
much.
just like bring the drinks.
Actually, that's not a
The waivers.
bad
There
idea.
could be a waiver at the.
Can I borrow your drugs?
What do you want? And I open the coat.
It's like-
Oh,
That's-
the rider.
French
Yeah.
coat.
The stage will have a rider.
Well,
I've
I'm
got
actually,
dragons, Crystal.
I'm
Why,
looking,
why?
I'm looking at this last one here, the PC.
How
PCs.
we're going to deal with the chaos energy.
How we're gonna distribute the drugs because the drugs help shield us, I believe. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it is. It's a good story. You can figure out a way to.
We can just be a little off, so the chaos is just like
Exactly.
it's not
Yeah.
bad.
yeah.
It
The
takes
proper
the edge
strict
off
drug
a bit,
regimen.
but at the same time, we're not as affected by the chaos energy
I'll
itself.
chuck in my
cancels itself out.
my half of the drugs.
well,
as well.
not cancel itself out, just more makes our minds a
It
bit
can't
more
penetrate us
loopy.
deeply because our minds are already fucked from the
Yes.
drugs.
Which is not crisp.
What about getting them a chant like a psalm from the Bible?
It's like
Yeah.
jumping into hot
Chant it
water
over
while
and
you're
over
being
the
in
mantra.
warm
Yeah.
water.
I know what wavelength you're on, so
On
yeah.
the-
Yeah, no, that's
I know.
pretty funny.
Oh,
Yeah,
really?
I'm
on board.
Oh,
Do you want
okay.
dragon
Just a
snow,
light
spider
buzz.
pills?
Just a light buzz.
Let's
Have you
let's
read
go with the-
Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas? Or
Not
the
yet.
movie Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas?
Oh
Like,
my God.
As your lawyer, I advise you to take mescaline right now. So
Yes.
he's like, he's always at different stages, like,
Yeah.
he's sort of coaching Hunter S. Thompson about exactly which psychedelics to take at which times to survive each thing.
Do you want that
Anyway,
mushroom
says,
back in the
as your
cave?
lawyer, I advise you.
Look, that's a pretty cut sick thing to do. I have to admit, I
Do
fully
it.
endorse that.
Now,
Shit, yeah.
because I've got to convince you all to take it rather than just myself, I'm going with persuasion on this one. For
Okay.
a +4.
Okay, good. Yes, that's very
I
good.
barely need to persuade my character.
It's like, you need to give me these
Bang.
now.
Okay.
No, you need to
persuasion.
give me them,
You're gonna-
and
you'll-
then I'll give you some back.
No, there's,
You'll-
there's
you'll have my
suppositories.
half as
Well, you can. I think I have a drug applicator.
What, just bang, bang, bang.
Well, I don't know. It's like from Chop's
Yeah.
lair.
Yeah.
So it is probably just
It's
bang,
blowed up.
bang,
It's
bang.
blowed.
So,
Yeah, I'd say just in spirit, a lot of you sacrificed drugs already. I just love this. So if you're all willing, if whatever drugs are remaining in the party, let's just
Yeah,
go ahead and then
let's-
cross
let's
those
do it.
all
You
off
owe me new
there.
drugs.
There's
Yeah.
only 2 gold.
This is
Not even.
Yes.
I've got
hilarious
drug
not
pipe
to
and
do.
leaves from Jop.
Okay.
Okay.
I'm hearing enough drugs around the table that I think that justifies a +2 on this roll. Plenty of material to work with. You've got high charisma because of your warlock basis. I love you using that. Roll.
Go.
Okay, so you've got a persuasion. Your skill plus is 4, and you got 2 because all toss in some drugs.
Oh,
Into the mix.
Exactly.
We don't know if they're the same ones.
Okay.
I've been
You
picking up a
can
lot of
reach. You can
drugs. with
stand if
this.
you like.
Yeah.
he knows.
Where's the other hand?
Okay. Looking at that.
I believe.
There you go. Take that back. Yeah.
Why is there a burn mark in that now?
Oh, shit, it works.
This is working.
Okay. All right. I have all the information about how well everybody's contributed to this plan. It now comes down to the lead.
We all die.
So again, the stakes are set.
So worried now.
We're going to try and make it 24, but everybody's
Everybody's
contributing
got
anywhere from 1 to 5 points.
Because everyone's got like +4 or 5, and I'm like, mine's a +3.
Ah, well, I think if you tell the story, you can make up for that as we go. So
The Hashmarag doesn't have a god that's really named.
now
Now is the time.
Look at that
It is the
loincloth.
time.
Look at these loincloths. Yeah.
I know.
So, Shmaragd is very much appealing to the masters of the universe
Okay, yes.
and the power of He-Man.
No.
Is there one single mask?
What do you need to say?
I have the.
I have the
Oh,
power.
I have the power! Sorry, I'm so not
you
with
just
it
rename
tonight.
that one to-
Oh, I'm
The
so not
concept.
with it tonight.
that was good. Yeah, you summoned it. I think you summoned your not with itness to belt that out at just the right tone. That's fantastic.
Use thaumaturgy when you do that as well.
I'm so
It
sorry.
just
I'm
moved
so.
everywhere.
I'm just.
It's all right. It's all right. We
Actually,
got
saying
that.
that to Oregon, like you have the power, like the kind of thing that's awesome. That's right.
Yes.
I know. I
That's
feel like
part
we
of
all
that
just had a moment.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's awesome.
Intimidating sort of.
Intimidate knowledge.
That has to be
yeah,
worth like a +3.
Get
Or
Oregon
five.
Plus
to
five, yes.
stick with the plan. Yeah, despite. Despite chaos, temptation,
Yeah.
despite
Plus
being
on the right.
comfortable, and all those things. Okay.
And like, I don't know, this is probably not the same thing, but also going, I will be able to help recover you afterwards. I can remove the effect of a chaos shard energy
Adds to the
afterwards.
chaos.
I can
Yeah,
restore.
right. Okay,
Yes.
good,
If
good, good. Yeah.
If something goes wrong,
Oh, no,
I
it
can
never would
restore.
be.
Yeah, great. Yeah,
Store
great,
that.
great. Okay. All right. I know it's not your big skill set, so for that reason and for others, I'm going to give you a +3 on all.
Yeah.
You got a great
Thank you.
line. You've got
Thank
the
you.
medicine. The medicine convinced me that justifies the third one as well. And yeah, so I think it's great. And this is your
It's too late
knowledge
to
of
switch to
intimidation.
medicine check right there.
Okay.
So-
So,
Yeah,
Mark,
sure.
you've got
Don't
intimidate to get Oregon to stick with the plan. You've got a skill plus of 3, and you've got a world plus of 3. And the contributors have got that there, so drop it behind the screen is the last thing to do.
I believe in you.
You can do it. Stop, let's
Okay.
break.
Here you go. Here you go. Here you go, it's back. You can do that now.
Oh, that actually goes up my shoulder. I just cringed so much.
All right.
I mean, come on, He-Man's been with us since like what, week 6?
Yeah.
have this
been
cult-
with me at this.
We
Very
gotta have
good, everybody. That was a lot of
story.
fun. So, I have got enough to write the story of
Don't
this
exist if you
outcome
believe it
and to be
exists.
ready for the best possible battle. Whether your rolls went well or poorly, you want to have the best possible success. You want to overkill on this and have allies, and a working facility. So get ready for a big battle. The last thing to do, taking the last several minutes here, is just to talk about the battle itself. Now that you have some idea, if that roll goes well, that you'll be in these positions, what skills you're going to use, what spells you're going to cast. Do assume that who here does not have any spell slots, by the way? Everybody's got at least.
Well,
Well, it's true, yeah.
obviously.
But everybody who's based on spell slots, you're not bereft of spell slots. So you should be talking about
The
what
one,
spells you
the
can
one
cast.
that I'm missing is the one that I use to heal Augur, so I'm not,
Okay.
I'm not, I'm,
Great.
I'm not
Yeah.
mad about
But
that.
it's good. This is part of the pace, right? You've gambled on not using your best skills all the way in to this point in those things, so you can have them for this final battle. So you're going to get the credit from that. Talk about what spells you're going to cast. Check your equipment. Make sure that if there's any last-minute shopping that you're going to do, now's the time to talk about that.
Can
Can
we
I-
sell things?
You cannot sell things because you're
Okay.
trapped in
Yeah.
without a vendor. Yeah. So the only way you can get stuff is by giving loot out of giving up gems or coins out of the hoard, and say you found in the hoard that particular weapon or whatever else. Yeah. You
Right.
can't combine your wealth, unfortunately. Well, you can combine your wealth too. You can say like, oh, the two of us are going to both jointly give up our gems and coins, so one of us can get one item.
if
You
you want
can't
to
do
use
that.
spell
You just
slots.
can't sell things.
Yeah. Can you give me more spell slots? I gave you that rod.
Yeah. How
Yes.
much money do you want?
How much did
How many
the
spell slots
rod,
do you got?
How much was the rod? Firstly,
We don't know.
We don't know.
Oh, sorry. Before I forget, XP. So the first scene was you weren't in danger. So this is a like easy encounters. But it's like you've had 2 easy encounters. You've had 2 big scenes, Act 2 and Act 4.
200.
150 XP total, so 75 for each.
God.
So adds 150 XP to your total XP. I doubt that any of you have enough to get to level 4.
Not yet.
We're getting closer.
50 off.
Great, good for you.
Isn't level 4
2,700.
I thought it was 2,100.
No,
Okay.
No, that's what I'm like, we're
No,
nowhere near that,
no,
because
no.
I'm at 2025, I think.
I'm
And
at
you-
2075.
Plus 150?
2075. He's talking about.
2075.
and
1,950.
I've got here 2025, but I've been to,
That can't be correct.
more sessions. Look, I only just wrote it down from my little
Yeah,
blue
unfortunately,
card.
I urge you not to change your XP just based on if what's on your card just has to stand,
2025.
unless you have some other.
I've got 2025 written here. I was going to say, Sean,
I'm 2050.
Oliver,
So
Maybe
we've all
maybe
been
I
to
wrote-
all
I've
the
been
sessions.
to
haven't
all
we?
the
Yeah,
sessions.
so with
Every
the
single
same-
one.
Yeah, you've all been doing your best record XP. I say you just have to stick with what's on
I'm
your
at
card.
1,950.
That's the way it typically happens.
Wait, what?
Well, it's we've been all
That's
the
my,
sessions,
like,
so
I've got 1,800 and I
What-
go up by
So
150.
before you added today, what
Right,
were you at?
because
Or
we-
have you
Yeah,
you've
but
not
I
been kept
started
keeping
today
toes,
on
you've just
it.
been writing the numbers.
Yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
so
based on
whatever
that,
was
yeah.
150 today, yes?
Yeah, so you just
So that
got
takes me to
well, I don't
75
know.
times 2. You got 150 more.
Oh, None of us are level 3 anyway, and we're level 2.
What
No,
is
we're
level
level
three?
3, we're not at level
We're
4.
not a
Yeah.
level 4.
What is level
And what I was
4?
going to tell you is that even
Next
don't like if you feel like, oh, if only I got, I wouldn't let you become level 4 anyway because you have to do a long rest to
Yeah.
become level 4. And also, you have kind of a level cap
And
until
I'm
you defeat
close
Orgu.
to
Your
2,000.
heroism cannot get to level 4 until
Yeah.
All good.
You have to
Not
fight
defeat,
all
no, defeat
It's
Ziggy.
something.
Um,
I'm
That
close
was
to it.
not a hint.
I will.
But no, I figured we'd probably be getting XP for this, but I thought we were doing
Yeah,
tactics
yeah.
first.
So you just
'cause-
weren't in danger. So dangerous stuff, you get more XP, but this was
not
still plenty of
in
character
danger.
development, so you get definitely XP.
Alright, because what I wanted to share to the group is that Shmaragd has prepared a spell called Enhance Ability. It is a touch spell, but what it is I can touch a creature and bestow upon it a magical enhancement. So you will either get an advantage of Constitution checks, Strength checks, or Dex checks and stuff like that. So, given that the Chaos Shard affects us in different ways from memory, doesn't it, like, that's one where I could put one on Orgu to give them an advantage on whatever the intimidation thing is doing, but I could possibly also prepare one of you guys to be, you know, have advantage on those checks as well. So I just
After
thought
you
I'd
decide that now,
share that out there.
Well, I think it should be one of the people near you right now.
Let me look that up myself to see if I can get any more advice. The good thing is it lasts an hour, so it can be done before the fight. So don't worry about who's close to what. You can touch them before they go in. It is concentration, so as soon as every time you take damage, you might lose your concentration. So 2 things: you can't concentrate on 2 spells at once, but it's a very powerful spell. Just be aware that you can't do another concentration spell while this is in effect.
Okay.
You could drop it and do a different concentration spell, so that one will get reversed. Also, every time you take damage, you'll have a DC 10 Constitution save, which you're pretty
I can
good
give
at.
you coinage and stuff.
You've got a +2 on that, so it'll be a
for any
DC
spells
10
before
Constitution
I
save
had,
every
but
time you
I thought
take
if
damage,
check was-
Smaragd, because
That might
that's
be
just the
more
way spells
effective
work.
because it's smooth.
Okay.
And
I feel I understood that, but
Flipping around and smoking,
Keep it.
Yeah,
you
so
keep it
advantage
there.
on
You're
skill
You're so
checks.
close to the fight.
so this one doesn't
Well, it
affect
makes
attacks,
sense
but it
for
does
you
affect the
to-
skill,
to
all sorts of checks.
when
Throw it
the
at
fight
range,
goes
hit
down,
them,
is
disable
Olga
them,
going to
take
be in
that
this
attack
room
first,
in
range,
here and
and move
fighting
in.
with
Oh,
us,
yeah.
or is it more?
He's going to be in the control room, so yeah,
Control
his
room.
job is being in control to operate sort of the lights and stuff like that. So he'll be remotely operating the bot, but he himself is going to be in the control room.
But he won't be down here necessarily.
No. You think in the control room, as far as you can tell, you have some idea where this room is some distance. So there's some distance between the two. You know, the
What
red
XP
mirror
you
is the
want?
way he's looking through.
The same 2-1-7-5,
2-1.
I think it was, yeah. Because we've been,
Okay, so that's what you should be on as well.
What?
because we've all been to all the same.
2175.
Yeah.
Okay.
If
Yeah,
you want,
that's
if you
what
want
I
a
ended
number,
up-
but yeah, don't worry
Yeah.
about it.
Totally.
I know. I just thought that it was a bit weird that you.
Yeah, I was so
Can
low.
I
Just with me.
ask how are we going to possibly get up onto stage?
It's 5 foot high.
It's 5 foot.
Yeah, and I'm 3 foot something.
Yeah, so
No
it
one
would,
says
it
that
would
you
be,
have to be
it
on
we can
there.
boost
it would be,
Well,
it would be
the
a minor
reason I'm-
athletics check. So I'd say it'd be like a DC 5 athletics check
Okay.
because you can jump and you can grab on and then sort of
Good.
like
Don't tell
twist
the elf.
yourself up. So
Okay,
it's not
'cause
automatic,
this
but easy.
potion I have that enhances that's potion of giant strength.
Ah,
I believe the only thing I don't know about it is how long it lasts.
you don't know how long.
So
it lasts, yeah.
it's something
So
that
take an action and drink. So your gamble is I'm going to drink it before the battle starts, and therefore you don't have to waste a round in combat.
Yeah.
Or think, I think it's only going to last 1 round, therefore I'll drink it at a critical moment. That's what you just don't know.
Is
If you come
is
early
it
and
an
spend a stamp,
action
you'll get the
or-
answer to that if you come in
Okay.
early and get a stamp.
because that's the thing I was looking at because it raises athletics and it raises hit attack with weapon.
That's the
because
important
strength
thing.
becomes
Because
21.
your strength improves everything. Improves
'Cause-
your damage and improves your chance to hit.
So that's why I'm thinking I would
Well,
like
then
to quaff this myself because that would make me like extra with my warhammer.
Yeah.
But I would have to
for
get on
sure.
there. But you said that climbing onto the stage would be athletics, and that would enhance that anyway.
Sure would, yep.
So it would.
But it's
kind-
really easy, like a DC 5, which is very hard to blow. Yeah. So
Okay.
you'd have to pretty much roll, most of you have to roll a 1 or a 2, you know, in order to blow it, in which case, you know, that would certainly,
chance.
it's just that they have to roll 1 to fail. I don't know, it's fine. Yeah, that would assure it, you're right. It's just probably not the biggest challenge. The biggest challenge is doing damage.
Yeah.
So I would recommend you want to give it to somebody who's going to do a lot of melee attacks. It's
Okay.
probably your best use of that rather than climbing onto the
You'll get
stage.
your spells and die.
But
It's not
they
spells,
would have to be on the
items.
stage to do those melee attacks, wouldn't they?
You don't know. You know that the stage management is that they start off there, but of course once all hell breaks loose, they're not rooted in place. Obviously, they're going to operate intelligently as well. And also, you gather that not every single red and silver
That's right.
officer is going to be on stage. Just the band is going
There's
to be
still
on
going to
stage.
be, yeah.
The silvers can't leave. They can't go through the cracks, so they can't.
Well, it's the thing, but we've also
No
got
one
these
can
goblins and these reds down
Yeah.
here that are
Yeah,
going
no one
to do
leaves.
things.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
you've got
If
the-
no one
you've got
minds,
the
I might
box.
stick to this potion myself
Yeah.
because
Yeah.
I already
Sure. Yeah,
have
you earned it. And
Have fun with
you've
it.
got melee attacks.
strengthy,
Yeah.
strengthy 5.
I
Good.
just kind of had
So-
an idea. Sorry. You've got that rod.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Do you? How long is it? Can it extend? Can
I
it?
think it's
contract?
about 3 feet.
Yeah.
As long as it's not, it doesn't extend.
Yeah, but that's good because I'm in a space which is 5 feet, which is my plan.
Oh, I can block the passage
Yes.
with it. I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah,
there'll
so-
be a Roomba under it or
Yeah.
jump over it.
So you just put it
I'm
at
just on the other side of you.
Limbo, not
Yeah.
Roomba.
But yeah, so what I
Use
was
the step to get on the stage. You can put it there in place, in which case it creates a nice step to get on the stage.
that's another thing. I just thought this is 5 foot. I can have it in there as a way of if we get rushed. If we
Like
get
it's
rushed
a
down
mild
there,
tripping hazard.
it's a tripping hazard.
It probably counts difficult
It could-
terrain.
it
is one
could
way to
be-
look at
yeah,
it. So
yeah.
it costs
Yeah.
an extra square movement to
Yeah.
move through.
See, I
Yeah.
just had the idea of we can make sure that they can't call in reinforcements with that thing.
Yes.
The door's
Up
locked,
there.
isn't it?
Well,
Doors
it's locked.
from
It's
the
locked.
outside,
Yeah.
and
And
you'd still allow
in.
more people in.
Yeah. But yeah, that's fine.
I mean,
I'm
we can-
open for that idea, so I'll keep that. Yeah.
We can
Good, yeah, that's
yeah,
great.
we can get you onto the stage and then we can do
Oh
that.
no, but it's alright because look, I can start with my ranged weapon anyway, and like there'll be people to fight down here with me.
Yeah, but we don't know how long your
I
potion's
do
gonna
have
last.
card
Even
number
if it's
2,
like
which is
short.
which is
Ah.
That's still
the flickering orange liquid
gonna
that
be out. That's
smokes.
still like a number of
Yeah.
rounds.
And it's weird.
Since we have
That's
some
a-
time, actually, if
a
you still want to
round
spend
6
stamps to do
seconds.
more things,
Yeah.
so let me say that everybody here, since we have a few minutes, even if let's pretend that is before the session and you're doing your stamps. So if you each of you can do one more spending of stamps to discover something about the items. So you mentioned it first. You want to
Black
spend a stamp to
liquid.
see.
Yeah, that was the
Well,
only thing I don't know
probably
is
tough.
how long.
Tell you what, instead of really, all I have to do is reveal one more thing, and you're guaranteed. Well, you're rolling medicine. There's a chance you'll have to spend no stamps. Please roll medicine. check.
Okay,
I don't care what
even
it
if I've
does.
already
It's
done
gotta do
medicine checks
something.
before on
That's
this.
it.
Okay,
It's a
the medicine is
flickering
plus
orange liquid that
5.
smokes. It's got to be.
Yeah, but how do you know if you chuck
Okay,
it? Why don't you
okay.
just drink it?
So all that does,
Might
it just
do.
means that that you have to
Even if
have to
you chuck it and hit
spend.
somebody, it's going to go. Oh, it's
You have
on
to
my
spend
face.
2 stamps for me to uncover the
Feels
whole thing.
nice. It's 250, man.
Yeah.
It lasts an hour. You are fucking strong for an entire hour.
Solid.
That's going to be the entire fight, and then some, isn't
Oh,
it?
still a
For
mission.
sure.
I
for
think
sure.
I think I can remember you going up against the Reds at some point.
So,
and having
And there's no
flashbacks.
other like it
Just
doesn't
use your
require
stamps.
concentration.
Ah,
It
yeah.
just works. You
If
just-
you
Oh.
don't pop by
That's
that
what
shit,
does.
like, and you know, just like you skull it, and it
Congratulations.
makes your arms
Alright.
get
Well,
big.
Yeah. So what skill do
I
you
will
want
be
to
ready
use
to use it.
here for this uncommon here potion?
1 hour.
Yeah, well, the fight's basically like 10 minutes, I think he said. So.
Oh, even just 1 or 2
I was
minutes.
like, it'd
really.
be the whole
One fight. It's 6
whole-
seconds per round. Every time we go around the table, 6 seconds of real in-world action.
Oh, it's not 6 seconds per person. It's 6 seconds.
6 seconds for the entire round.
Because remember, we're all technically acting consecutively.
Simultaneously.
That's the one.
Oh man, I'm just sitting here like,
Can I do something
I'm gonna get
weird
you.
and just like
I'm gonna get you.
persuasion?
I'm just going to go.
oh, my turn's over.
You
Sorry.
pick whatever you like. If it's
Strength
completely
becoming-
inappropriate, it makes the DC a little bit harder. If I can't think of a way to use it.
I would like
But
to
if it's an
modify, which would
intelligent
change their
item,
weapon attack
persuasion is perfect. You just have to
bonus.
gamble as an
Yeah,
intelligent
so
item.
I'd
I
like to-
think if I'm
Talk to it and
Because yeah,
If I'm
basically
shaking
what it's
it,
going to do is
Okay,
it
smoking
automatically
and,
changes
uh,
this, which
alright.
means it changes
and,
this.
glowing.
if I'm correct,
Yeah, exactly. It might be a little
it's
demon or something in there you can
yeah.
talk to. So roll
2
persuasion,
levels
please.
above is
Say
Plus one.
D20 and plus.
I think.
Why are you talking like Yoda? That did not make any sense.
Yeah, 9.
Well, one thing to discover, the hypothesis, this is not fucking intelligent. There's nothing intelligent in this potion. And, so at least, you know, your roll got that. So, in order to know what is in this potion, you'll get partial information for 2 stamps.
I've been carrying that since the 11th of
You have to
May.
cross those off yourself.
Okay.
So, if you're willing to spend, you've already spent 1 stamp just to try this. If you're willing to spend a second stamp, we'll give you partial information.
Partial.
For the man, so
More than I know
what
already.
he does.
Exactly.
I mean, what do we really
I'll leave it
expect
to you
from
to
somebody
scrape off
who's
this
out
very
forest bar?
annoying
Can be
pink.
inserted into any lock.
It's like
Charms
chewing gum.
unlimited.
Can we lock
Okay.
that?
Well, it's already locked from the outside.
Well, the good
There's
thing
no lock inside.
is at least you know the name of it. Well, you give it a little taste. You with your persuasion.
Inside with
I
us.
don't know how you
No,
do
no,
this.
he's in the
What you do is
toilet.
like in frustration
That's why
because
I
you can't get
checked.
through
Yeah,
to it.
checked.
Maybe you take another little sip, and this is just basic perception. It's extremely spicy, and like a little bit of smoke comes out of your mouth. You know that this is probably a potion of fire breath,
I was
Fuck
going to say,
yeah.
you've just got hot toss there.
You
Fuck
were
yeah.
throw it.
and you
What about one in
know
someone's
You were
mouth?
gonna throw it.
It was gonna go in someone's mouth. So.
potion of fire breath.
Think about
And-
it. We put it in the goblin's mouth
Bloody
and we just
idiot.
point the goblin.
Yeah.
I watched
And you
Boys.
know that it
Yeah,
requires,
that
so
works.
you drink it, so after you drink it, it lasts some amount of time, which I can't reveal. You have to come early and spend yet more stamps to get another go here. But for now, you just have to have a mystery. All you know is that a bonus, you drink it, and for some amount of time, on a bonus action, you'll be able to breathe fire.
Turns out it's
The
5
shape of the
days.
fire, how far the fire goes, how much damage it does, how long could you get breathe more than once? How long after you drink it can you breathe fire? None of this do you know,
Who cares?
but
That'd be cool.
it's going to be fun.
Yeah.
Come in early,
It's
spend
gonna
those
be cool.
stamps.
It's totally 50. So,
But if you come a little early and spend stamps again, I'll reveal more stuff on this card. But at least you know it's beneficial in a fight.
If I can,
Good to know.
If I can,
I have 8 stamps left. I'd
when
like
you
to
turn the
spend
key,
them
you don't
all
have to know how the card
on
works.
on that item and that crossbow item.
Well, each person can do one experiment. So just the way it's limited is just to keep it capped. It's not so. Know how many stamps you have. There's only each of you can only do one thing.
Cool. Well,
You can spend stamps on behalf of somebody else if they don't
who
feel like
hasn't?
spending the
Who
stamps.
doesn't want to feel like spending
So,
stamps?
because I've lost track here, I'm just going to butt in.
Or
So,
5 discoveries can be made. Let's just say.
so with this bolt, could I use something like my athletics and do like a bit of bending, a little bit of sort of twanging, checking its strength and stuff, or is that not?
I think so.
Is that going to not count to help identify what this
Oh, possibly.
Quarrel is.
So let me do it this way. First of all, does anybody have an item of their own of benefit themselves they haven't gone yet and they want to spend their own stamps to discover more about? Let's do
Yeah,
this
I've got a
first.
thick black liquid potion.
Oh wait.
Okay, yeah, and
Yeah,
then
let's
what
do
you
that
could
one.
do is either your own or pick
I'm
anybody
content to
else.
wait. I don't have any more items. I've just passed
Okay,
them out.
that's very
to
nice.
other
So
people.
chances are you will be able to do that if Sargas picks you. But let's do you first.
Sure. Well, it's a potion. I'm going to use medicine. Makes more sense.
Okay, hand me that card so I can see what I'd be revealing. All right. So it's an uncommon. Great. So I have an idea of the DC and whether medicine is appropriate. We will see based on its details. All right. So with a medicine check, you are trying to find out more about this potion. Go ahead and roll that, please.
Ah, yes!
Nice.
Oh, fantastic.
That's roll of the night.
I love this dice.
All right. This uncommon potion is called. Oh, you've been trained in this. You actually you have a soldier background still?
I do.
Yes. You actually took a special course in how to operate this. This is the famous oil of slipperiness.
Oi.
I like your key.
This is really great for a couple purposes that you
I'm
can
gonna see
use.
what it does.
Stage.
You can use it in 2 ways. You can cover a medium creature with this oil. It's usually done like there's a certain class of dwarves that are very good at massage. You know, dwarves are kind of hairy, so you got to know how to get it past the hair. There's a special table, special music and mood lighting. It takes 10 minutes to thoroughly massage this oil, and of course they have to be naked. No, it goes on their armor as well. So with both, they have to you have to do it to them naked, and then they have to put
They're
their armor. You do it again.
dwarves, they wear
Lunch
the armor
Lady
all the
Doris,
time.
do you have any grease?
Raise me up, woman.
Look up
Go
the
into them,
spell in the player's handbook. Look up the spell called Freedom of Movement because it has the effect of the spell Freedom of Movement, which I don't know very well. Grab a player's handbook, and under F you'll find Freedom of Movement. So it takes 10 minutes to prepare. You can do it beforehand because it lasts for 8 hours before the oil is absorbed or all rubbed off, whatever you're doing. And you get the effect of freedom of movement. I believe like you can't be grappled, you can't be chained, like you cannot be sort of pinned down and grappled and sort of rooted in place. There's a few things also. There's some
Yes.
Yes.
like you can be difficult terrain. What is freedom of movement?
I'm trying to look it up now. Looking under
Under
F.
He's looking at the contents.
I am looking at the contents.
Oh, just there's a section of spells. So
Bathos.
if you flip
At
back
the
to
end
it,
of
shows
spells.
where
Just,
all the spells, they're all
10 or
alphabetical.
11 towards the end there.
Right. I probably should have actually looked at what
You
page
go
that was.
further back.
Further.
Ah, F. Okay, spell descriptions.
A bit further on.
Yep.
I'll get it
I'm not
refreshed
actually
as
looking at this
well.
before, so.
A bit further.
Oh, interesting.
There's pictures.
Ooh, interesting.
No.
A greased up door.
That's still spells.
Wait, looks like spells.
Okay, keep going. Yeah, keep going.
Yeah, so if you're in the section of
Spells.
spells, just look for F.
What's W?
There we are.
That's conditions.
Yeah.
I think that's gone a little too far.
Yeah, there's a
right?
list of spells, so it's, yeah, about half the book is spells. So if you're looking at names of spells, then navigate forward and backwards to the F's of those spells.
Alright.
Sorry,
And it was
man.
called freedom of movement.
Freedom of movement. Oh, I'm never going to use this pink blue tack ever again. It's terrible.
It is.
Yeah, so awful. I thought it,
It stains the things.
it
as well.
stains
Oh my
things.
god, I honestly should just look it up on
Yeah.
D&D.
There's only one blue tab.
You can do that too.
I probably should. It's just going to be easier. Oh no, hang on, freedom. It's literally in front of me.
Yay!
You touch a willing creature. I am so willing. For the duration, the target's movement is unaffected by difficult terrain, end spells, and other magical effects that can neither reduce the target's speed nor cause the target to be paralyzed or restrained. Target can also spend 5 feet of movement, or I only have like
25.
20 or something, to automatically escape from non-magical restraints, such as manacles, and creatures that has it grappled. Finally, being underwater imposes no penalties on the target's movement or attacks. That's pretty awesome.
That's cool. That's
And then
cool.
you said that's an
So I've
8
uncovered
hour.
everything, yeah. So if you put it on a person, it takes 10 minutes to apply, and then they have that effect for 8 hours.
I'm totally going to wear that.
You also can spread it on the ground. So in 10 minutes, you can spread it. No, with just an action.
Rub it
you
on
can-
yourself and then slide across the
With
stage.
just an action.
Slip and slide.
Yeah.
Do you have grease?
Yeah.
I absolutely still have grease.
Hang on,
Oh.
Hang on.
Let's finish what's
With
happening
just
here.
an action, a 10-foot square on the ground is like the grease spell, and it lasts for 8 hours as well.
Wow.
So that's 2 by 2, isn't it?
Mhm.
10.
Yep. So
Awesome.
either one. That's either an
Grease
action
there,
during
and
combat
then
or
just-
any other time.
Man,
Or
I've
you
managed
can
to get
get
some pretty
preparation.
sick items in this campaign.
Yeah, good
I
to
got
know.
my bag, I
There's
got
a
my-
spell
think
called
so.
Heat Object,
Got
and
my
I can
black
heat
stuff.
the doorknobs so that they
Good on.
Yes.
I'm going to use all this.
Oh, are you the one that also has the cloak of the manta ray? No. it's
No,
not.
I
Okay, because
Yeah.
it's quite a combination.
What about
Yeah,
one
I can
sec-
breathe
what about
under-
one
You're
second
definitely
of
ready
line
for a
right
fetish
across?
party now.
I want to wear it.
You're
I want to wear it. Then I can't
Partly,
get
he's got the other
Yeah.
side.
difficult terrain. I can just run up and whack people.
Yeah, the not being able to be grappled, I think.
I
is
know.
a
That's
good one.
Yeah.
pretty cool, I think.
Good.
Or restrained,
Yeah, now of
whatever
course
it
all
was.
these things are items that you can use in this battle, but they're also powerful enough to sell, to use later on in Epic 2, give to somebody who's going to do Epic 2, all those things.
Use it now.
Use it now. Don't want to die with good items in your pocket.
That's right. What happens if I die?
We've done 4 investigations, so we can do a 5th investigation. And
If you want to use yours before.
Well, just check if you don't have any items that you want to check out because I got the last of my potion information. So
Mine won't really help. I mean, I'm probably going to try to find out the last bit of the Cloak of Manta Ray, but if you've got something more important there, or if you've got something there, I'm okay with what the knowledge I've got
It's
right
fire
now.
brands.
Okay, so between these two things, what do you think is
And-
more
and
important?
I-
More
and
about
I
the Cloak of
can
Manta Ray
use-
underwater,
Yeah,
or more about the
Well,
more
I've
about
got
the
that
magic?
Can we use it in this upcoming thing? That's the
Well, I did have an idea with the cloud that we could have done, where I would just put the thing around me so I can actually breathe through it and not get the confusion of it. But
Oh, interesting.
I think
Yeah,
I'll
so
try that later.
I know it's switched back and forth. In combat, I apply the rules very strictly, and because the Cloak of Manta Ray so far doesn't say that it makes you immune to gas, I don't
Yeah.
think I can interpret it that way. So because in this combat, I'm going to tighten the rules.
It does
quite a bit.
say that
Once the
you
combat
can
starts.
breathe underwater.
Right.
So it's either it gets filtered through the cloak, or it's got its own air supply.
Yeah, let's just say for free that what it is that you're actually, because the breathe water spell does the
Yeah.
same thing, the water's actually going in and out of your lungs. So it's like the thing on your mouth is almost like a sort of like a filter, like it kind of like goes down your throat a little bit. So it's like it somehow converts the water into something, like aerates the water.
You've
so
got gills.
I've
So-
got gills.
Yeah, so certainly
Yeah.
interpreting it wouldn't make you proof to these effects.
No. So I'd
So-
say we use a
Yeah.
few.
Yeah.
all right, so we've got this crossbow
Bow.
quarrel that has a sharp feathered shaft, faintly glowing. So, given I'm the only one with a crossbow, it makes sense to try and find out what it's about because it may be useful in the battle.
Sure.
Many damages.
And you've got your hat as well.
That only works outdoors. It's only going to work outdoors. So I
Just in the cave,
am.
just
Still look cool.
If I was to do a skill for it, I would try my athletics just to sort of kind of, bend it and like stretch it, twang it, just sort of try and like physically determine its
athletics, yeah,
nature
sure.
by actually
Maybe even
physically manhandling it.
Yeah, exactly. And that makes sense. It could be good.
I mean, given I've got a proficiency in all simple weapons anyway, can I not add that as well? I don't know.
Oh, I see. Simple weapons, yes.
You got martial
Super
weapons
efficient
as
with it.
well,
Yeah, that's
Not
true.
martial.
Yeah, I'd say you could use your attack bonus with the crossbow. So
Your crossbows could talk to
Oh,
each
that's
other.
only a 1.
yeah. So I would apply your crossbow skill, which is essentially your dexterity plus proficiency, but
Which is
unfortunately it's only a
-1.
1.
Yeah.
So maybe athletics will give you a bigger plus. But
My
it's a different-
athletics would be a +4.
Okay. Yep, exactly. So again, a middle roll will reveal different amounts of information, or different kinds of information. Using your athletics.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
Go for it.
I like the trying to manhandle it and sort of
Yeah.
try and bite on it, see what I can determine.
Okay, good.
It's woody.
All right, come on, athletics, work for me today. 14.
Not bad. All right.
I'd say
Plus your
if
thing.
it,
Yeah, so 10 plus 4.
Oh, was that a
is-
10? Sorry, I can't actually see what you. I thought you said
There
that was a
you go.
14.
No, I'm because it was a 10. I could add that really quickly. It was really useful.
I was going to say, if that was a 1, you just bite clean through the thing.
It's like, whoops, I guess.
Yeah,
that's
I
it.
do like the idea of biting through it. So
But then I've got 2.
you can tell that your whole party's a little reluctant. It's like, oh no, I think I'm just gonna try and bend this thing. All the party's like, oh, that doesn't seem like a good idea to do the magic weapon. But the amazing thing is like you bend it, you bite it. It's like the more you do it, the more like you try to like break it on your knee. You realize this is a magic weapon. Only a magic weapon can be this immune to the abuse that you're stacking onto it with your teeth and your knee and all that stuff.
Some dumb dwarf just.
we run over. No, give it.
You got
I'm
doesn't
testing its
retaliate.
strength.
you got the
Like a
DC,
gold coin.
which means that you still have to spend 1 stamp
Yeah.
to get this knowledge.
Yeah, I've got shit tons. I haven't. Last week I think
Or,
was the
or
first
sorry,
time.
I've offered to spend stamps on your behalf. So
If you want to,
call that out.
I'm going to go for that key though. That
I was
Vol's
gonna
got.
say, I
Well, we've
had-
already done. This is the 5th investigation, or have we done 4? No.
Uh,
Oh no. Okay. Go. We do so one. Good.
I'm going to do
Sorry.
your key and then. Okay, I think we're done.
I'll spend my own stamp. Oh, look,
Okay,
I only
great.
started working on the stamps like last week or the week before. Like,
I've only
Got shit
used
tons.
4, so.
Good. Okay. I'm spending all my time just
But
getting this
what are you
shitty
going
pink
to
stuff off.
use for it?
Okay.
do you need fingernails?
I'm
I've got
gonna-
No,
fingernails.
fingernails is like
Milk.
the legendary sticky-haired monster. Fighting it just makes it worse. I'm just going to.
That,
I'm
that
assuming I
is
didn't
your
get-
That's a
character.
Buddhism reference.
So I didn't get everything determined yet.
Yes, that's right. So we're going to have a little bit left in the can.
Arcana?
This is a bit of magical ammunition. It gives a +1 to your attack.
Okay.
So when you attack with it, you get an extra +1 on the damage and the attacks. It's a typical +1 magic weapon. But it's a magical weapon. There are some monsters that can only be hurt by magical weapons.
Okay.
So the best thing is not just the +1, is because there are certain things that are immune to piercing damage unless it's magical. So that's very useful to hold on to. You know that it has the potential to lose its magic under certain conditions. You don't know what those conditions are, and that's what's remaining covered up.
YOLO.
Welcome to my life with these things.
Is it the sort of thing that's once it's used, that's it, I never get it back again? Or is it one of those things that I would be like after a battle, be
You're
able
not
to go
sure.
and be able to.
Yeah, you'd have to do
collect.
further investigation to be more confident. You just know, all that you know is that it's not like it'll last forever and ever and ever under all conditions. There are some conditions under which it will lose its power. You just don't know what those conditions are.
Do or die. We're in it now.
Well, that's why I
But
wanted
pretty
to.
reliable to work at least once, right? So
Yeah,
you
yeah.
fire
Yeah.
at least once.
Because that's
That's all
why
you
I
need.
figured it was worth sort of investigating because it would be like related to the upcoming.
You're going to have
fight.
+20 strength, so you probably
Yeah.
only
And
want
if
to
you
shoot
come early,
your crossbow once anyway.
The crossbow dex, not strength.
Yeah, that's
I know, that's what I mean. So you're
about.
probably only going to. Whoa. You're having a real bad time with those
No,
today,
exactly,
mate.
I really have.
But you're probably only going to want to
Down
shoot
a
your
bit.
crossbow once.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
just shoot a special bolt. They're going to whack
sure.
them really
Cool.
hard.
And that's
thing.
why I thought I'd check like how high that is, and that's why I like the strength potion.
Yeah.
+1 to attack and
The
damage.
key.
Okay, there's the last in the investigation.
Wow.
He wants to do the investigation. I'll
Sure.
use my I'll use one of my
Sure,
stats for it, but he can do the rolling because I know he's got better stats when it comes to this sort of thing.
Sure.
Investigation. I'm just going to.
Investigation. Yeah, using your intelligence to try to logically figure out what this thing does.
Okay, so for one thing, it's a key.
It's a common item, so the DC is a little bit lower.
It
than the other
unlocks.
ones.
It unlocks things.
The teeth move on it.
Also, the teeth move.
Ah,
On it.
good. Yeah, so I'll give you a
Yes.
+1 for having done
That's
some
right.
things that you've already cited about it. Very
It has a
good.
question mark on the head.
Mhm.
Yeah.
It has unlimited charges on it.
Yes. I still
It
don't
can
know what
fit
that
any
is.
lock. It fits any lock, I
It-
think.
Can
Yeah.
insert it into any lock, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, so you
But
try
there
putting it
is
in
a
every
bit
lock.
more information that we have not.
I want to also
Yeah.
see what it's made of.
But
because
yeah, so you've experienced, you haven't really used it, you haven't been quite bold enough, but this may give you the confidence to actually use it, yeah.
Yeah.
You've just carefully inserted, but you haven't dared twist it yet.
That's
You just know that it
right.
fits, like, it becomes big for a big lock, it becomes wide for a wide lock, it becomes small for a small lock.
Yeah, so I want to
Investigation. Yep.
investigation +3.
Another +1 because of...
19, 20.
Nice, yes, great. You know everything about this mystery key. The things that are revealed is that when you twist it, it has a 5% chance of opening any lock in the world. A
Door.
5% chance of unlocking it. Oh, it has to
Only
be a
after
lock.
we do that part. Oh yeah, it's locked. The door's locked from the
Now this is a
outside.
common item, so once it's successful, the key disappears. You can try as many times as you can, so every time you try, if it doesn't work, you get the key back. But if it actually works, the key is consumed in the process.
Okay.
5% chance of opening a lock. Once it doesn't work on a lock, retrying the lock won't work. It just means that lock's not conducive to it. So every lock that you try, you have a 5% chance of it opening, which is strangely powerful when you think about it.
Yeah.
There's a lot of power. You can have this like at level 20, and this is the DM. It's like, fuck. and then you roll 20.
what I'm keeping?
There's 5% chance, so you'll roll a d20. If you roll a 20, it's like it's going to
There's a
open
chest
up.
of amazing loot in here. I'll just, woo!
I was thinking about those chests that we didn't get in the.
Yeah, like the king says, nobody can open this chest unless you go to the top of this mountain and kill this dragon who has the keys. Like, yeah, but...
Yeah, I'm just going to just try this.
Sorry, I interrupted you.
Oh no, my immediate thought was those chests that in the with the hand gauntlet
A bandful.
with the
Banful.
band from the earth and
Mm-hmm.
Whatever.
whatever the other one was.
That
I have written
that
that.
tunnel room.
The one that we don't care about because I lost the warrior.
No, I have to.
Yes.
Have you crossed that one of the ones up in yours?
Cabin door.
Oh yeah.
Nerath,
door.
a bandful,
Yes.
cabin door.
Great, everybody.
But I feel like they were covered in molten iron or whatever that stuff was, so it's not like we can get to them. But still, like,
We're at the end, so
Cool.
getting the XP, that's very good. Everybody's alive. You've talked tactics. Thanks for doing that. You know, we talk about what you do next, but you know what you're going to do next. There's no choices besides the very important choices you'll make during combat. Go and take your things back. I have taken a photo. Still taking donations, of course, if you're. I hope you enjoyed watching us teach Dungeons & Dragons to absolute beginners. Want to know more about how we do it? Then support our nonprofit mission. Unlock extensive how-to videos and use the Courage and Chaos method yourself by using free materials that we provide. You can get all that at the link that you see here. That is tinyurl.com/teachdd, or you can click that link in the description. Of course, please like, share, and subscribe. We're going to come out with these videos every 2 weeks in this series, so I will see you again soon.